Before 5, really? With 100 inmates? Okay. Nah, not the inmates. They don't go home. You guys mind removing your head covers for the judge? Out of respect for the judge. Thank you.
All rise, please. Circuit Court's now in session. Honorable John Brown presiding.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Please be seated. Just a quick data dump on things that I received over the lunch break. I received an email from Candace Price, so I'll file that with Madam Clerk, just so you know. Also received a fax from 12 Oaks, and I think we covered it this morning, Joseph Hallcroft. So I'll file that with Madam Clerk also. And then the last thing that I received regarded Jade May. I don't even know if she's on the docket for today, but from Judge Powell talking about that she revoked her bond in Santa Rosa. Well, I don't know. Judge, she's in Crestview now, right?
It's a male.
Okay. But the judge is in Crestview.
Oh, okay. Mr. May knows. I thought you were talking about Mr. May. Is he in, he might be in jail.
She stated Mr. May at first appearance this morning on a new charge of DUI, resisting an officer without violence, that she revoked his bond.
Okay.
Good. Okay, back to the folks that are in the gallery. Mr. Lyons?
Charleston.
And the folks that are on Zoom, don't forget them.
Right, given the number of people that we excused, once the court took a recess, do you want me to just call people I recognize in the gallery, or do you want me to go through and?
First, I see the Portuguese interpreter maybe back on.
Hello? Hello? We're still waiting on recess to get back in.
Portuguese interpreter. What case is that person?
That is for an inmate case.
Okay.
That is for Vinicius Cassiano de Souza.
Okay, so when you see the jail come back on, I don't know when they have that person lined up or not.
Okay, we can ask one of the CEOs to clear that should be included.
Okay. Okay, so yes, sir, the folks that you recognize in the gallery, or?
First I have is Jalen Lucius.
Okay.
This is Mr. Lucius, Your Honor. We have reached an agreement to resolve this case. At this time, Mr. Lucius, on count 1, would be entering a plea to lesser included offense of reckless driving. In exchange for the plea, counts 2 and 3 will be null crossed. Mr. Lucius will be placed on 1 year of probation. He will perform 50 hours of community service, pay a $1,000 fine, attend and complete a victim impact panel, be subject to a 10-day vehicle impound. He will attend and complete DUI school as a condition of probation. He'd be assessed misdemeanor DUI court costs and 150 in public defender fees. He will be adjudicated as a reckless driver. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Lucius, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Lucius, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lucius, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty on count 1. Counts 2 and 3 are dismissed. You're You're sentenced to 1 year probation. You need to perform 50 hours of community service work, pay the $1,000 fine, successfully complete the victim impact panel. Your vehicle will be impounded for 10 days, and you'll need to attend and complete the DUI school, pay the court cost, and the $150 public defender's fee. Thank you, sir. Mr. Hines?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm going to call Edward Payran next. I'm just going to go by row.
And to the jail we have probably 70 people left that we've got to take out of the gallery, just so you know.
This is Mr. Payran, Your Honor, 21 CF 3204. The situation we're dealing with Mr. Payran's case, Your Honor, is there's a witness that is currently living in Wisconsin that I was not aware was out of the state. We'd issued 2 subpoenas trying to get this individual deposed. As a matter of fact, I was intending to file a motion for an order to show cause, and until I went back and looked and realized we didn't have service. So I'm going to ask the court for one last continuance for Mr. Payran. I have instructed him to call my office and make an appointment so we can go over the depositions that we have taken. I'm trying to get this case in a position for a clear trial disposition in the month of May.
Okay. Mr. Payran, I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock. And I'm putting down continued and trial next time. So I'm looking at going to trial in May. Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, man. We'll talk with that. May 8th. We'll talk with that. All right. Next, Your Honor, I see Christopher Martin. This is Mr. Martin, Your Honor. We do have an agreement to resolve this case. Mr. Martin is going to be entering a no contest plea on counts 1 and 3. In exchange for that plea, count 2 will be no cross. Mr. Martin will be placed on 18 months of probation. He'll perform 24 hours of community service. He'll submit to a substance abuse evaluation, any recommended follow-up treatment. He assessed $615 in court costs and $150 in public defender fees, and he would be adjudicated.
Martin, if you'll raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Mr. Martin, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martin, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. Counts 1 and 3. Count 2 is dismissed. You're sentenced to 18 months probation. You need to perform 24 hours of community service work. You need to submit to a substance abuse evaluation within 15 days from today, beginning the treatment if it's recommended within 30 days from today. All monetary assessments mandated by statute or county ordinance are imposed. That's the court cost and the $150 public defender's fee. You have to pay $40 per month cost of supervision. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Okay, I need your number. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next, Your Honor, I'll call Lyle Miller. That would be followed by Karen McCullough. Miller. Your Honor, this is Mr. Miller. We're going to have to ask the court for a continuance. We still have not been able to take the depositions in this matter. We did submit a statement from the alleged victim in reciprocal discovery. So we're doing what we can, but we still need to take these depositions. I would hope that they will be done before the May 8th date. I would like to ask for just a one-sided continuance.
It's continued one cycle. Mr. Miller, I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have somebody on Zoom, Manuel Garza.
Garza. You'll take the microphone off mute.
Mr. Garza, can you take your microphone off of mute so the judge can hear you?
Good. Okay, Mr. Hunt? Yes, sir, we can hear you.
I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now, Mr. Manuel? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garza? Can you hear me?
It's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
We were muted.
Okay, you unmute?
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Garza, can you hear us now?
yes, sir, I can hear
Good. Thank you. And to everybody on Zoom, I've told the attorneys to be mindful that you're there when they represent you. So, Mr. Kleins, on Mr. Garza's case?
Yes, Your Honor. So the situation with Mr. Garza is all of the alleged victims and witnesses live in Houston, Texas. We have been proposing a plea to a misdemeanor since September to the state, and the state has continuously rejected our proposals. We do need to depose these individuals. I've already talked to my office about putting a trip together to go out to Houston. At this point, all I can do is ask for a one-time continuance to make these depositions happen.
Okay, to the state?
That would be correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Garza, so I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock, and then I'll be looking at going to trial if it's not resolved that day, okay?
May 8th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So trial next time.
Your Honor, I have also on Zoom Leilani Magwood. Ms. Magwood, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Your Honor, so the situation with Ms. Magwood is that we are going to ask the court for a one-cycle continuance. I did talk with her. This is a situation where it's a really kind of an unsettled area of the law in terms of why she was asked to get out of the car. So I haven't had a chance to write that motion yet. However, I do intend to get it written here before the end of this month and set for a hearing in April. So I would ask the court for a one-cycle continuance so we can get that done.
Yes, sir, it's continued. Ms. Magwood, your case is continued until May 8th at 9 o'clock. Okay.
You said May 8th at 9?
May 8th at 9. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
And as I see Ms. Davis there, the Portuguese interpreter to the jail, Ms. Davis, who are you interpreting for?
For case number 4619 CF 3413 Vinicius Cassiano de Souza.
So to the jail, I've got, you couldn't hear me before, but I probably got 50 people in the gallery that we've got to do first. But if you can get Ms. Davis's, the person that she's interpreting for, if you can get that person sooner than later, then we'll get that person out and get Ms. Davis on her way. Mr. Kleins?
The name is Vinicius Cassiano de Souza.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kleins?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I have Ron Peterson on Zoom.
Yes, sir. Mr. Peterson?
Your Honor, it's kind of an unusual situation. Mr. Peterson was incarcerated at some point recently, serving a sentence, possibly in the Department of Corrections. He failed to appear in September, I think because he was in custody. So I have not had a chance to talk to Mr. Peterson since last summer. I would ask the court for a one-cycle continuance for both of these cases. But Mr. Peterson, I need you to make a contact with my office and make an appointment to come in and talk with me. And your microphone is muted, Mr. Peterson.
Where is Mr. Peterson? See,
He's
on
in
the
the top.
iPhone?
He's in the top right corner.
Okay, there
Yes,
he is.
sir.
So, Mr. Peterson,
Yes, Your Honor.
you've got to make an appointment with Mr. Kleins and attend that appointment. And
Yes, Your Honor.
well before May 8th, where Mr. Kleins can start working on your case. And I'll see you back
Yes,
here on
sir.
May 8th at 9 o'clock. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I see Gavin Olson.
Oh, Mr. Olson.
Morning,
Afternoon.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Olson. I would like to leave Mr. Olson on for plea to continue for next Monday. We have submitted as much paperwork as we can get over to the state, and I don't know if we'll get this resolved on Monday, but I would like to leave it on to trial.
Okay. And if we don't resolve it Monday, then it'll be trial next time?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Olson, I'll see you next Monday on the 20th at 9 o'clock. Okay?
Next Monday?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I see Willie McDaniel.
Mr. Bethune?
He was just
Mr. Glines, I don't, your last name is with an M or a B?
M.
M, okay, good, because we heard it with a B.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, good. Yes, sir.
This is 22 CF 2325. I believe the state has an announcement.
Yes, Your Honor, this time we're going to be announcing dismissal of these charges.
Okay.
METHUM.
Wow. Okay, so the case is, the state is dismissing Mr. Methune's case?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Methune, your case is dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I have Jamie Moog.
MOOG.
Thank you, sir.
Is that still a good number to reach you? Right down a good number. All right, don't leave until you give it to me. Your Honor, this is Jamie Moog, 22 CF 1389. We will announce plea or trial in this case.
Okay. Mr. Moog, that means that I'll see you next week on the 20th at 9 o'clock. If it's not resolved then we'll go to trial at the end of the month.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Call my office. Here I have on Zoom, I have Michael Moore.
Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Moore, I have finished taking the depositions in your case. I do believe that we're in a position to say plea or trial. That doesn't necessarily lock you into a trial. It's just my way of telling the judge, like, Judge, this is going to be resolved sometime in the coming weeks, one way or the other. Okay?
Awesome.
So me and you are going to talk on the phone this week. You should be back in court next Monday. And if we work something out with the state, great. If we don't, then we're going to proceed to trial.
Awesome.
Mr. Moore, I'll see you on the 20th at 9 o'clock, and then if it's not resolved, then we'll go to trial at the end of the month.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. You too.
What was that defendant's name?
Michael Moore. Is that Sarah McLaughlin?
Ms. McLaughlin? Yes, ma'am. Good.
Ms. McLaughlin, how are you? Ms. McLaughlin, I finished taking the depositions in your case. The case is ready to be set for trial. I'm going to set it for trial. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to trial. It just means we've got to make a decision on how you want to proceed before next Monday, okay? So, the judge is going to tell you to be back in court on Monday the 20th, and you and I will talk later this week.
Okay, it's a little troublesome to be physically present.
Okay, you and I will talk about that, and we'll figure something out, but I need to talk to you on the phone.
Okay.
Ms. McLaughlin, unless Mr. Klein says you don't have to physically be here, I want you here physically because we're going to set it for trial if it's not resolved on Monday, okay? So stay in touch with him. If he gives me a reason that I can say that you don't have to be here, If Mr. Klein says he wants to set it for a hearing after that, but before the trial date, then we'll talk about it. But the 20th,
Okay, I understand, Your Honor.
20th at 9 o'clock. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I have, the last one, it looks on Zoom, I have somebody named Israel Mount.
Ballot?
Mount, like mount a horse.
Okay.
Mr. Mount, can you unmute your microphone? There you go. Mr. Mount, my name is Scott Kleins. I'm an attorney with the Public Defender's Office. I've been appointed to represent you on this case. You and I have not had a chance to talk, but I want to leave your case on for next Monday, the 20th, for plea or continue, so I can figure out what it is you want me to be doing here. But in order to do that, I need to be able to talk to you. You need to call my office and give me a phone number to reach you at this week.
So, Mr. Mount, you'll need to physically be here at the courthouse on the 20th, March 20th at 9 o'clock.
I physically live in St. Louis, and I already sent his assistant.
This is a DPA recall, Your Honor. So if the court would allow him to appear by Zoom next week, it's not in a position to be tried. I don't even know what's going on in the case.
Mr. Mount, then you can attend via Zoom, okay? So, but make sure you talk to Mr. Kleins between now and then. If he tells me, if I ask him, is he communicated with you, and he says, Mr. Kleins tells me no, then I'm going to issue a capias for you, and they're going to come arrest you. So make sure you get in touch with him. Okay.
I talked to his assistant beforehand. I had in touch with his assistant. His assistant told me to send the receipt specifically.
Good.
I got the email and so.
Good, Mr. Mount. That sounds good. Be in touch with Mr. Kleins, and I'll see you on Zoom on the 20th.
To get in touch with him, and then I'll.
Okay, you were breaking up there, but I'll see you on the 20th at 9. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I misspoke, Your Honor. I see Jeremy Markwa up in the top left corner.
Mr. Markwa.
So the situation with Mr. Markwa, Your Honor, is he had to reschedule his appointment he has with Dr. McDonald. He lives out of state. Actually, he's a resident of Mobile. And so he has an appointment scheduled with Dr. McDonald on March 21st at 9 o'clock. This is for a potential mitigation report here. Given that, I would ask the court to continue this one last time. However, if we reach any sort of an agreed upon resolution, or if this is an open plea to the court, we'll probably put Mr. Markwa on an earlier docket than the May 8th docket.
Okay. Mr. Markwa, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll see you back here on March 8th at 9 o'clock, and I'm putting trial next time, so we'll go to trial at the end of that month if it's not resolved.
Yes, sir. May 8th.
Mr. Markwa, that's May 8th, okay?
I'm sorry, May 8th
That's fine.
at
Yes,
9
sir.
o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure, Mr. Markwa, please make sure you keep that appointment with Dr. McDonald, okay?
Yes, sir. I will. Thank you.
So, Mr. Morse, Jamie Morse.
Jamie Morse, 22 CF 3162.
Mr. Morse is present and approaching, Your Honor. We have reached an agreement to resolve this. At this time, Mr. Morse would be entering a no contest plea on count 1 to the lesser included offense of possession of paraphernalia. That is statute 893.147. He would plead as charged on counts 2 and 3. He would be sentenced to time served, be assessed misdemeanor court costs, $150 in public defender fees, and he would be adjudicated of the misdemeanors.
Okay.
May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Morris, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Morris, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Morris, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You need to pay the misdemeanor court costs. How long will it take you to pay that, plus the $150 public defender's fee?
If you could give me up to 90 days, I can have it paid.
Okay. So if you fail to pay it within 90 days, then it will go to a civil lien or judgment.
Understood.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Crystal Owen. Your Honor, this is Ms. Owen. I would like to leave her on for plea or continue. This is a pay and dismiss that we have been asking the state, who do we need to pay for at least 3 months. So I think we can hopefully get that information this coming week, but we're ready to resolve this. We just need to know where the check needs to go.
To the state, you're gonna be able to give Ms. Owen who she needs to pay?
Yes, Your Honor, we'll get that to them.
Okay, when do you, should I set it for plea continue and then check on it on the 20th?
That's what I would prefer, Your Honor.
Okay, and waive Ms. Owen's appearance?
If I get told tomorrow, it might even be off the docket by next Monday.
Okay. So Ms. Owen, you don't have to be here on the 20th. Your attorney will be here. You can certainly come if you want to.
Okay.
But I just want to know what the status of the state getting your attorney that information.
Okay.
And then, so it's technically your underlying case is rescheduled until May 8th
Okay.
at 9 o'clock.
And if all that's taken care of, I do not have to come, correct?
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
As soon as I know something.
Thank you.
Thomas Plouffe.
Detail Okaoosa.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Thomas Plouffe. We will announce plea or trial.
Okay. I think we took notes last time and said 4 or 5 witnesses. So, Mr. Plouffe, I'll see you back here on the 20th at 9 o'clock. If it's not resolved then we'll be going to trial at the end of this month. Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, man, we'll talk this week. All right. Is there anybody else represented by Scott Kleins? Christian Perry?
Whoever's represented by Mr. Kleins, if you just want to line up in the aisle, that'd be great. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Christian Perry. We are going to announce plea or trial. I don't necessarily think this will be a trial, but it definitely needs to be disposed of.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Perry, so I'll see you on the 20th at 9 o'clock, and we'll be going to trial at the end of the month if it's not resolved before that. Okay? Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am, if you'll come up. What's your name?
So this is Ms. Peoples, Your Honor. We were not appointed to her case until February 23rd. I don't have the discovery in her case. In talking with her during lunch break, I seem to have reason to believe that the state has offered her a year of probation. Is that
Ms. Peoples' case?
Yes, we should have withhold 1 year probation, 24 hours of community service work.
Do you want to accept that? Okay. Ms. Peoples is she's going to want to accept that, Your Honor. I would ask the court to, if possible, allow me to not be formally representing her because I haven't done anything, and I don't want her to be assessed public defender.
Okay. So I do grant your motion to withdraw or just not appoint public defender. Ms. Peoples, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. So the offer from the state is a withhold and what?
1 year of probation. A part of that would be that we would be reducing count 1 to possession of marijuana, count 2 as charged, count 3 would be dismissed, and count 4 is just a misdemeanor DWSR. And then all of those would be 1 year withhold, 1 year of probation, and 24 hours of community service work.
Okay, so Ms. Peoples, here's what I hear. It would be a withhold of adjudication, 1 year of probation that run concurrently, run at the same time on each count. You would have to pay the court costs and perform 24 hours of community service work. You'd be waiving your right to a trial by jury. You'd also be waiving your right to an attorney. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes.
Okay. Have any questions for me? Have you been on probation before? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Peebles, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You're sentenced to 1 year probation on each count other than count 3, which is dismissed. They're to run concurrently, run at the same time. You need to pay the court costs, $40 per month cost of supervision, and perform 24 hours of community service work. You just want to talk to probation in the front row? Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, would the court order that she be supervised by JCS?
No.
Would you?
Ms. Peebles.
Mr. Clines, make sure you tell her the difference in price.
It's going to cost. She would request the JCS, Your Honor.
Okay. So Ms. Peoples, JCS will supervise you and it costs $50 a month. Thank you, Mr. Clines. Okay, yes, sir.
This is Alan Oliver, Your Honor. I don't even know if an information's been filed. We were not appointed until 2/23 in this case. I would like to leave Mr. Oliver's case on for the 20th. I'm trying to see if I can get the state to file a no pros in this case, if an information hasn't been filed yet. This is a situation where Mr. Oliver's license was very briefly suspended. And so I'd like to talk with Mr. Gomez about that. Okay. Well then, I'd like to leave the case on for next Monday. I don't necessarily think Mr. Oliver needs to be here because all I'm trying to
So
do.
we continue?
Please continue, Your Honor.
Mr. Oliver, that means that your attorney will be here on the 20th. You don't have to be. If it's not resolved on the 20th, then you need to be back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock.
Judge, I would just like to point out, because it does seem a lot of things are getting set for the 20th. All of the state attorneys here have multiple contested hearings set for Thursday. We have multiple trials that have already been set that we're going to decide on for Monday. It's going to be increasingly challenging to continue to get all of that done, prep for our contested hearings on Thursday, and prep our cases to figure out if they're going to be going to trial or not by the 3/20. I just feel like it's asking an incredible amount of us right now, and I just need that to be on the record that that's what's happening.
Okay. So rather I start scheduling the additional ones for March 23rd?
If it's not clear trial, they need to be set off, I think, a little bit later. It's 3/20, that docket day is set to try to make sure that we decide what cases go to trial. Not plea whatever we can if the state attorneys can set aside everything that they have going with contested hearings and every trial case. I mean, I myself already have 15 trials set. So it's just, I don't know when we're expected to get all of this done.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, sir. I'll see you on the 20th.
Okay, thank you.
Or I'll see your attorney anyway on the
Next, I have Donald Lowe. And we have reached an agreement for Mr. Lowe to resolve this. At this time, Mr. Lowe would be entering a no contest plea to the lesser included offense of no valid driver's license. The agreed upon dispositions will be sentenced to time served, be assessed misdemeanor court costs, and $150 in public defender fees. He would be adjudicated of that misdemeanor. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Lowe, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lowe, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lowe, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty of the misdemeanor, driving with no valid driver's license. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court costs and the $150 public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that amount?
Just for 90 days, sir.
Yes, sir. If you fail to pay it within 90 days, then it'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And the last one I have from the morning docket, Your Honor, is Devin Morales.
Hello, Mr. Morales.
Your Honor, Mr. Morales is going to request that the court continue this one cycle. He's still in the process of trying to get his driver's license back, and so he's asking for additional time to see if he can get that taken care of.
And it's M-I-R, right?
M-O-R-A-L-E-S.
Okay. Mr. Morales, I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Oh, I didn't see Mr. Brown.
Well, Mr. Brown.
Hey, Mr. Brown, how are you doing, sir?
Good to see you again, sir.
You as well.
Thank you. Palmer? Palmer, I'm sorry.
Your Honor, Mr. Palmer's is one of these contested hearings that Mr. Gomez was just talking about. We'd like to leave him set for this Thursday's docket for the motion to suppress this currently set for hearing.
Okay, and then the underlying case, is it going to be continued?
Yeah, we can do that. We can just say continue it to the May 8th docket pending disposition of this motion here.
So I'll see you on Thursday. Is it at 1:30?
It should be at 2:30, I believe.
Okay.
I'll call you and tell you the specific time to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. McKinney?
Judge, the court want me to call the people who are going to waive appearance or just go with the people in the courtroom?
I would just go with live people. Let's try to get them.
Juan Garcia, 19 CF 3427. Mr. Garcia is present, back on the docket. And this is a PTI recall case. Mr. Garcia has since paid off all the remaining amounts. There should be a zero balance. My question to Mr. Gomez is going to be whether or not that suffices to dismiss the charges or not.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. It does. It does suffice.
Okay. So, Mr. Garcia, your case is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. It's good seeing your face again, Mr. Garcia.
You too, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Brandon Hall. Mr. Hall is approaching. This is also a DPA recall. We had sent the state Mr. Hall's completion of his inpatient, which was part of the DPA, and there should be a zero balance for Mr. Hall as well. Has the state had a chance to review that?
Hi, Mr. Hall. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your Honor, this time we would consider the DPA completed in this case.
Okay. Mr. Hall, your case is dismissed. Thank you, sir.
Always good to have that. Jericho Hilliard. Mr. Hilliard is approaching 20 CF 1657.
Mr. Hilliard?
Jericho Hilliard.
No, he's not approaching. Okay.
Judge, this is 20 CF 1657. This was put back on the docket after failure to comply with the DPA. Would the court allow me to put this on Monday to see if I can find Mr. Hilliard?
So, we continue?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Eddie Hudson.
Hello, Mr. Hudson.
Mr. Hudson is here in 23 CF 174. We've reached an agreement. Mr. Hudson is going to enter a plea as charged. Adjudication is going to be withheld. It's going to be a court cost only $615 and $150 cost of defense agreement. No probation, no jail time. We would ask the court for a period of time to pay those amounts off. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hudson, if you'll raise your right hand, your other right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand up. Mr. Hudson, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hudson, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. I need to pay the court costs and the $150 public defender's fee. How long will you need to pay that?
90 days.
Okay. Yes, sir. You got 90 days. If you fail to pay it by that time, then it'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
And I believe the state will be submitting a spreadsheet. I have Jamel Johnson on Zoom, or I did. I see Mr. Johnson on Zoom. If you can unmute and cut your video on.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson is back on the docket for failure to comply with the DPA. A term of the DPA that is still outstanding is show proof of a permit to carry a concealed firearm, probably within a Florida CCW. He now lives in Arizona. I don't know if the state has a position, since he now lives in Arizona out of state, how we'd want to comply with, get a Florida CCW. We can always continue this to Monday, or continues to a later date but Mr. Johnson is present on Zoom because he lives out of state.
Mr. Johnson, if you'll start your camera.
It's not letting me. I'm not sure why.
Mr. McKinney, do you recognize his voice?
I do.
Okay, good. Thanks, Mr. Johnson. You're okay. As long as your attorney recognizes your voice.
Okay.
Nothing's going to change.
Your Honor, at this time, I think the state is going to dismiss this case based on completion of the DPA requirements.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, your case is dismissed, okay? Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mr.
Thanks right
Johnson.
now.
Yes, sir, you're over.
Veronica Jones.
Man, I thought I was going next, man.
Ms. Jones is present in 21 CF 2370.
Hello, Mr.
Judge, this is a September 2021 direct file by the state. I filed a motion to compel discovery in this case because Ms. Jones has been to 4 pretrials at this point, and we still do not have any discovery from the state. I haven't set that for a hearing. I was hoping we wouldn't need to, but that's where we're at with Ms. Jones' case. I still do not have discovery. I have filed a motion to compel.
Okay, so we want to set the motion to compel?
Yes, sir.
April 13th? Is that a lot? Okay, so April 17th?
I would hope not long. Really, we're just after discovery.
Okay, so April 13th at 9? Good. April 13th at 9. Does your client need to be here?
I would say yes, Judge, because if we can gain some ground on the case, we're really just looking for a restitution amount.
Okay.
And given this type of a case, we may be able to resolve it or move forward.
Okay. So I'll see you on April 13th at 9 o'clock. The underlying case is continued. 1 second. Thank you, ma'am.
Is there Zairia Jones on Zoom?
Is Pizaria Jones on Zoom? If so, we can't hear you.
Judge, she normally appears from a treatment program that she is currently in, the Humble House. Would the court allow me to waive her appearance?
What are you seeking? Oh, because she's in Humble House. Okay.
She's in Humble House, and if she successfully completes Humble House, she's scheduled to graduate from that program in April,
Right.
prior to the May 8th court date.
When is the last time that you've confirmed she's still in Humble House?
Last week. I've had recent conversation with Ms. Jones,
Okay.
and I've sent
So do you want to
confirmation of
continue?
that to the state.
Continue the case?
I would like to continue the case, and so the judge knows what track it's on. Upon successful completion, this is a PCI recall,
Right.
then the state would likely be announcing dismissal of the charges on May 8th.
I understand. Any objection for continuing Jones?
No, Your Honor.
It's continued 1 second.
Dustin Rekowicki, followed by Marquise Robinson Davenport. Dustin Rekowicki. Judge, he is present before the court in 22 CF 2979. I would ask that we leave this on docket day, plea or continue.
Okay. How do you spell your last name?
Spell it.
R-A-K-O.
R-A-K. Okay, thank you. Just trying to find it on a large document.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, and so you're seeking what?
Docket day, plea or continue?
Yes, sir. So I'll see you back here on the 20th at 9 o'clock. Stay in touch with Mr. McKinney, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, see you Monday morning at 9 a.m. Marquise Robinson Davenport, followed by Jeffrey Ross.
Robinson Davenport.
Yes, Your Honor, he's here in 22 CF 2856. We've reached an agreement. He's going to be entering a plea as charged. The agreement calls for a withhold of adjudication and court costs. We'll ask the court for some time to pay those amounts off. No objection to the score sheet. May I judge?
And then there's also the $150 public defender's fee. Mr. Robinson, if you raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robinson, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Robinson, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You'll need to pay the court cost and the public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that?
60 days?
Yes, sir. So if you fail to pay it within 60 days, then it'll go to a civil lien or judgment, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir.
This is Jeffrey Ross. Mr. Ross is here in 23 CF 75. Mr. Ross also has a new case, case number 23 CF 346, which is on the next pretrial. I'm going to ask for a continuance of this case so that they're both on the May 8th docket.
Okay. Mr. Ross was previously in Keaton, is that right? No. Okay. Jeffrey Ross?
This is, no, I think you're talking about Michael Ross.
Yeah, I'm Jeffrey Ross, but I'm not sure
Okay.
what Keaton is.
No, that would be Michael Ross.
Okay, good. I had it down, marked down on the wrong one. Okay. Mr. Ross, I'll see you back here then on May 8th at 9 o'clock on both of your cases.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I have your, okay, cool. Okay, do that.
Michael Ross? Michael Ross is present in the courtroom. I did see him. There was discussion last time we were in court about him being evaluated for the Keaton and Phoenix House programs. And additionally, I believe my office has filed a motion to withdraw due to conflict. I don't know if that order has gone
It
through.
must have because it's off this docket. Is it on? What docket's it on? Ms. Jacob, are you here? I don't see her.
She was going to appear by Zoom, I think.
Ms. Jacob, you on Zoom?
And I know that was a very recent appointment for RCC.
Okay, so what I'll do, Mr. Ross, is continue your case until May 8th at 9 o'clock. Ms. Jacob is your new attorney, the Regional Conflict Counsel, so get in touch with her where she can start working on your case.
Yes, sir. Be sure to talk about the applications for Phoenix and Keaton that we've already done.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You too.
Zachariah Rutherford, followed by Robert Sargent. Mr. Rutherford is present and approaching in 22 CF 371. This is a CAC case. There is additional work that we need to do as far as legal research related to a potential motion to dismiss. Without going into full details in court today, I'm going to request a continuance.
Okay, the depositions that we talked about a couple months ago, those have been done?
We did the deposition out of state in Michigan. And he's got 2 co-defendants, so I don't believe that we have lined up depositions between all 3 co-defendants and all the moving parts between 3 attorneys. But that still needs to be done on several of those cases. I may not need to be involved in that if the motion that I'm talking about is sufficient.
Okay. Mr. Rutherford, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock. Stay in touch with Mr. McKinney, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. For Mr. Rutherford.
Michael Ross?
then I would withdraw the case. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Robert Sargent. Mr. Sargent is present in 3 cases. 20 CF 2715 is a felony violation of probation. 22 CF 2645 is a new case, as well as 22 CF 3041. I reviewed a report from Dr. McDonald over the weekend that does raise some competency issues. I believe it would be appropriate upon the state having notice of that and given the appropriate report for us to be able to discuss that. If we can line that up and do that by Monday, well, then that's again many moving pieces, but I'd like to try to do that. I believe the recommendation was going to be for a conditional release plan out of Lakeview rather than Florida State Hospital, but I don't want to speak out of turn since the state hasn't even had a chance to see that report yet.
State, what do you want to do?
Judge, I think setting it for Monday is going to be the most appropriate for
Okay,
this time.
so
That's fine,
we
Judge.
continue. Mr. Sargent, I'll see you back here on Monday at 9 o'clock. Thank you, sir.
Can we make a note or notice that as a competency hearing?
Is that acceptable to the state? Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Jeffrey Scott, followed by Wilmer Shirley.
Oh, Mr. Scott.
Mr. Scott is approaching in 22 CF 2980. We've reached an agreement. Mr. Scott wishes to enter a plea of no contest. As charged, the agreement is time served, $515 report cost, $150 cost of defense. May I approach?
Yes, sir. And the adjudication?
Without.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Scott, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Scott, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You need to pay the court costs and the $150 public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that?
60 days.
Okay? So if you fail to pay it within 60 days, then it'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. The DUI count?
Okay, Madam Clerk, is that on the same information?
I think it was still.
I believe that went to the misdemeanor court.
I don't think it ever filed a negative information because I think it's still open.
Because I believe he came from misdemeanor court downstairs. If we have a moment to look it up, we can do that, but it was a one-count information. Was there ever an amended information?
I didn't know my understanding here. Awesome.
Do we want to set that on Monday?
We can. And my system is still open.
Judge, in hearing that, I believe that we would need the plea agreement back and then come back on Monday. The state's going to have to add a count 2 on DUI for us to put hands on.
Okay, so the court rescinds the sentence
Yes, sir.
and no pro tunc.
So that would mean Mr. Scott would need to come back on Monday, but the goal would be to try to resolve it and have all the moving pieces in place.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scott. I'll see you on Monday.
Monday at 9 a.m. All right. If I get an update, I'll give you. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for catching that. Wilmer Shirley. Mr. Shirley is here in 22 CF 1721. The agreement in his case is for a plea as charged, adjudication of guilt. He is a convicted felon. Time served, $615 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. No objections to the score sheet, may I approach?
Yes, sir, thank you. Mr. Sherling, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sherling, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sherling, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You'll need to pay the court costs, public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that?
6 months.
Okay. If you fail to pay it within 6 months, then we'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Fingerprints, Your Honor.
Okay. Fingerprints, Mr. Sherling.
Is there a fingerprint you, and then email me, and then I'll send you a copy of the agreement in a couple days. Laura Simpson, followed by Davon Smedley.
Paula Simpson.
Ms. Simpson is present before the court in 21 CF 3033. We've reached an agreement, and Ms. Simpson is going to be entering a plea in count 1 as charged. In count 2 is going to be a lesser included offense, sell, manufacture, deliver of methamphetamine, a second-degree felony. Count 3 is going to be a plea as charged. The end result is going to be an adjudication of guilt on all 3 counts, 3 years probation, special conditions of substance abuse evaluation, and recommended treatment. The evaluation must be within 30 days, treatment to begin within 60. $615 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. May I approach with that plea agreement and score sheet?
Yes, sir. $40 per month cost of supervision.
Yes, Judge.
This is an agreed upon downward departure.
Thank you.
Move to agree.
Yes, sir. Ms. Simpson, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Simpson, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you discuss it with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did he answer all of your questions?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Simpson, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 3 years probation. You need to submit to a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days from today and begin any treatment within 60 days from today, if it's recommended. You need to pay the court costs and $150 public defender's fee and $40 per month cost of supervision. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
You're going to do fingerprints because it's an adjudication. Madam Clerk, the lesser included statute number is on the sentencing guidelines score sheet. Davon Smedley.
Mr. Smedley.
Mr. Smedley is present 22 CF 2688. We've reached an agreement. Mr. Smedley is going to be entering a plea as charged. The agreement calls for an adjudication of guilt, 36 months state probation. Special conditions include 25 hours community service work, no driving without a valid driver's license, and a 1-year driver's license revocation. There's $615 in court cost and $150 cost of defense.
Yeah. Misdemeanor counts?
Count 3, does the state want time served or concurrent probation?
I don't think he has any priors at all, so I would say
So the misdemeanor in count 3 would be a concurrent 11 months, 29 days probation?
Right.
Okay. And some of these terms were handwritten in, and Mr. Smedley had previously signed the agreement, so he has initialed those additions. May I approach?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Smedley, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Smedley, put your hand down. Thank you. Mr. Smedley, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the things that were added to that was, on the misdemeanor counts, you'd be sentenced to 11 months, 29 days probation, but that's to run concurrently, run at the same time as the 36 months probation, so the total would just be 36 months probation. You okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Smedley, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 36 months probation. That's concurrent on the felony counts, 1129 on the misdemeanor counts, everything to run at the same time. All monetary assessments mandated by statute or county ordinance are imposed. That's the court cost. You'll need to perform 25 hours of community service work.
1 year driver's license revocation.
Thank you. 1 year driver's license revocation, no driving without a valid driver's license, and $150 public defender's fee, $40 per month cost of supervision. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Tim Robbins. I saw Mr. Tim Robbins come in 23 CF 41.
To the state, Mr. Gomez, were you the one that did that last plea agreement?
No.
Or who filled it in? Do you, Mr. McKinney?
For which?
Just for Mr. Smedley.
I wrote the plea agreement.
Okay. Just on the score sheet, the difference between 3 years and 36 months, I'm just doing exactly what's in there, so if it's 36 months, if you'll put in that. Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Judge, this is Mr. Tim Robbins. Depositions are scheduled in April. However, I would like for Mr. Robbins to come back on docket day, plea or continue, to see if we can gain some ground on his case. I'd like him to appear in person.
Okay. Mr. Robbins, I'll see you on the 20th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Nikki Smith. Followed by Christopher Smith. Nikki Smith. You first. One second. That's okay. This is Nikki Smith in 21 CF 2090 and 21 CF 3255. In 2090, that's going to resolve and pay and dismiss. We still have to get the victim to acknowledge the restitution amount. That's something for me and Ms. Davis to do more than Ms. Smith. If we could come back on docket day to give us a time to file the assessment with the clerk, that's going to be pay and dismiss in that case. The other case, 21 CF 3255, we have depositions scheduled in April. And there's a good bit of paperwork related to that since it's a welfare fraud case and investigators that are out of the area, which is causing a delay, but does already scheduled for April. So I would request a continuance in 21 CF 3255. And for the other case, 21 CF 2090, I'd like to come back on docket day, plea or continue. So hopefully we can, without Ms. Smith having to be here, so that we can file that assessment into the record.
Okay. So plea continue on 21 CF 2090 and continued on 21 CF 3255.
Correct.
Ms. Smith, you're certainly welcome to be here, but you don't have to be here on the 20th. But I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock.
And I'll let Ms. Smith know as soon as that's filed into the record so she can pay and dismiss that case.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Christopher Smith.
Christopher with a K.
This is Christopher with a K, Christopher Brian Smith. Mr. Smith is here in 22 CF 1850. We've reached an agreement. Mr. Smith is going to be entering a plea as charged. The agreement calls for a withhold adjudication, $615 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
Just take your hands out of your pockets. Thank you, sir.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand up. Mr. Smith, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. I need to pay the court costs and $150 public defender's fee. How long will you need to pay that?
90 days.
Okay? If you fail to pay it within 90 days, it will go to a civil lien or judgment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Philip Smith, followed by Kyle Soto. Philip Smith is here in 22 CF 2365. We've reached an agreement in his case as well. The agreement is an adjudication of guilt, as plea as charged, time served, $615 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. May I approach with that score sheet?
Yes, sir.
And plea agreement.
Mr. Smith, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand up. Mr. Smith, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated. Go ahead, do you have a question?
What's your question? Judge, the question for Mr. Smith is, he was previously on a payment plan that was paused because of this case, and he's seeking time to pay those amounts off to get back on a payment plan with the Okloosa County Clerk of the Court. And I believe that the court grants him time to pay off those amounts and get on a new payment plan, and that's going to fit his needs.
Okay, so what do you want to do in this case?
Enter the plea, and it's going to be time served. I believe the court has the plea agreement.
Yes, sir.
It would be time served and give him some time to pay off the court costs.
Good. So, Mr. Smith, you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
And you understand it?
Yes, sir.
And you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You need to pay the court costs and the $150 public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that?
90 days.
Are you sure you were talking about these other payments that you had?
That's for 6 months.
Well, 6 months.
Okay. You can always pay it early. So if you fail to pay it within 6 months, then it'll go to a civil lien. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Adjudication of guilt, you're going to need fingerprints. Kyle Soto. Mr. Soto is present in 22 CF 1683. Any questions? Okay. Mr. Soto is going to be entering a plea as charged. The agreement calls for time served, $515 report cost, $150 cost of defense. Adjudication is going to be withheld.
Okay. Thank
May I
you.
approach?
Mr. Soto, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Soto, did you read the plea agreement?
I did.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Soto, I do accept your plea. Your adjudication is withheld. You need to pay the court cost and the $150 public defender's fee. How long will you need to pay those amounts?
6 months.
Okay. Yes, sir. If you fail to pay them within 6 months, then they'll go to a civil lien or judgment. They also, I believe, have a warrant. Mr. McKinney, do you want to see this?
May I approach?
Sure. Do you want him to be held up here, and then we check into it this afternoon, or how do you want to do it?
Judge, if we could for the same officer and voting for
Just
so I can look at the case and then read the lot, I'll go through this in the future.
Absolutely. Good. That's great. Okay. I don't know if they have anybody up here. Do you just, where do you want him, Pat? You want him in the courtroom?
Well, put him in Bucky and tell him not to transport.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Smith, Mr. Soto, they'll hold you up here, and then I'll see you hopefully later this afternoon when Mr. McKinney unravels it.
Yeah.
It looks like the same thing, so we can go to that door, but I'm going to leave it. Sorry, Judge. Christopher Stagner, followed by Rayshawn Starks. This is Christopher Stagner in 23 CF 67. We've reached an agreement in Mr. Stagner's case. He's going to be entering a plea of no contest as charged. Adjudication is going to be withheld. It's going to be $615 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Stagner, if you'll raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Mr. Stagner, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Stagner, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You need to pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee. How long will you need to pay that?
Days.
Okay. If you fail to pay it within 90 days, then it'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're good. Rayshawn Starks, 22 CF 2924. We're going to announce ready for trial.
Okay. So, Mr. Starks, that means that I'll see you back here on the 20th at 9 o'clock. And if it's not resolved then we'll be going to trial at the end of this month.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Richard Stevens. Mr. Stevens on Zoom.
Mr. Stevens?
I don't see him on Zoom. May I recall him?
Yes, sir.
I was expecting to see him there. Richard Tatro.
Hello, Mr. Tatro. Good afternoon, sir.
Did a little dance. Did you have a chance to read everything through? Are you good with that? Judge, we've reached an agreement. Mr. Richard Tatro's case, 22 CF 3114. The agreement calls for an adjudication of guilt on counts 1 and 2. Count 3 will be dismissed. My apologies, Judge. There is a $83.72 cost of investigation, which is not written on the plea agreement, but would be part of this plea. $83.72 cost of investigation. That would be to the Niceville Police Department. Mr. Tatro is aware of that, and that's part of the agreement, in addition to the $615 in court cost, $150 cost of defense. Okay. May I approach with the plea agreement?
Yes, sir. Mr. Tatro, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Tatro, did you read the plea agreement?
I did.
Do you understand it?
Absolutely.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
You understand that if I accept your plea, $83.72 will be added to that?
Yes, I do.
You acceptable? Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tatro, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You need to pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee, $83.72 cost of investigation. How long will you need to pay that?
If I can get it 6 months.
Yes, sir. Okay. So if you fail to pay it within 6 months, it'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Krishan Toomer, followed by Haley Tuning. Mr. Toomer is present before the court in 22 CF 2110. We have to schedule depositions with several co-defendants. That's the slowdown in scheduling, so we're going to request a continuance until May 8th to accomplish that.
Okay. Mr. Toomer, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you back here on April 8th at 9 o'clock. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Haley Tuning, followed by Christian Milgram. Judge, this is Haley Lee Tuning for the court in 22
I'm
CF.
sorry, last name is?
Tuning, Tunin.
Thank you.
Yep. The agreement calls for a plea as charged, no contest plea that results in a withheld adjudication, $615 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Tuning, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Tuning, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tuning, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Mr. Tuning, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You'll need to pay the court costs and the $150 public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that?
6 months.
Okay? If you fail to pay it within 6 months, then it will go to a civil lien or judgment. It may adversely affect your driver's license. Okay? Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Christian Vildren, followed by Joel Walls. Christian Vildren. Oh, there it is. Mr. Christian Vildren is approaching 22 CF 1382. We've completed 2 rounds of depositions, one of a number of juveniles. That's led us to additional witnesses that are juveniles, one of which being out of state. We're going to request a continuance until the May 8th docket because that's going to take some moving pieces to accomplish that by the time we get back.
Do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You understand what Mr. McKinney's doing on your case?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
May the defense and the state look at photos and information.
Until 3 p.m.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Judge, Mr. Soto is back in the courtroom.
So the state has an announcement?
Judge, my understanding, the warrant that was discussed earlier today, at this point, that warrant has been recalled as of August 23rd of 2022. So at this point, I don't think that warrant should be valid at this moment. And if Madam Clerk can just put down that the state's going to take no action on any FTA arising from this case.
Mr. Soto, so you get to leave that way, which is good. So there's nothing outstanding on you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Pat.
Joe Walls, followed by Christopher White.
Hello, Mr. Walls.
Mr. Walls is before the court in 21 CF 1796. The last time we talked, Judge, we talked about a motion to suppress. I filed the motion to suppress. I figured that we would just set it for a date while we're here in court since he had his pretrial appearance rather than filing a notice of hearing somewhere. So let the court have control over when and how we hear this.
Okay. Madam Clerk, do you want to do it April 17th, that afternoon? Okay, let's do it April 20th at 2:30.
April 20th at 2:30. This is the dispositive motion, so we'll hear it on that date, and the underlying case will be continued to May 8th.
Correct. Yes, sir.
The next time you're going to be in April 20th at 2:30. Okay.
I'll see you then. Thank you, sir.
Christopher White.
Hello, Mr. White.
Mr. White is before the court in 22 CF 2683. We've reached an agreement in Mr. White's case. The agreement calls for Mr. White to enter a plea as charged. Count 1 is a felony that is going to be time served, no probation with an adjudication of guilt. Count 2 is a first-degree misdemeanor DUI. That's going to be a plea as charged, adjudication of guilt, 11 months, 29 days probation to be supervised by JCS. Special conditions include all of the first offender DUI requirements, which include substance abuse evaluation, recommended treatment within 30 days, treatment within 60, $500 fine, 50 hours community service work, victim impact panel, 6 months driver's license suspension, 10-day vehicle impound, reserve over the issue amount of restitution. There's $515 in court cost. There's a $150 cost of defense. We would ask the court for the ability to submit an order waiving the period for a hardship license, which I would do with a separate order submitted to Your Honor. And additionally, there was a no insurance ticket that we would ask if we could merge and dismiss.
Any objection from the state?
No, Judge.
Yes, sir.
May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. White, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. White, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
So this is a downward departure? Is it a plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. White, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to time served in count 1. In count 2, 11 months, 29 days probation. That's supervised by JCS. You'll need to fulfill the first offender DUI requirements, including all the matters that Mr. McKinney put on the record, and it's in the written plea agreement. You need to pay the court cost and the public defender's fee. And I think JCS charges $50 a month. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you, Mr. White.
Mr. White, could you step right over here just for a few minutes, please?
Sean White, followed by Summer White. Sean White is approaching in 22 CF 2002. The agreement that's been reached is for Mr. White to enter a plea of no contest as charged. He'll be adjudicated guilty, $515 in court costs, $150 cost of defense. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. White. Good, how are you? Mr. White, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir. Mr. White, did you read the plea agreement? Do you understand it?
Yes.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. White, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court costs and $150 public defender's fee. How long will you need to pay that?
6 months.
Okay, yes, sir. If you fail to pay it within 6 months, it will go to a civil lien or judgment. Thank you, Mr. White. Good luck to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. Mr. White, you need to be fingerprinted. You go that way. Oh, yeah. Judge, I did not see a response for Summer White. Does the court wish to take action now or have me call it at the end?
Let's wait until the end.
Ryan Williams. Mr. Williams is approaching. After him is going to be William Williams on Zoom. Do you have any questions for me? Yeah. Good. Judge, we reached an agreement in Ryan Williams' case 22 CF 3147. The agreement calls for a plea as charged. for standard court costs, which are $615 in this case, $150 cost of defense. May I approach the plea agreement?
Yes, sir. Mr. Williams, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand up. Mr. Williams, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court cost and the $150 public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that?
6 months.
Okay? If you fail to pay it within 6 months, it'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
You're going to hand that way to go,
Mr. Williams, please.
William Williams is on Zoom.
Yes, sir.
I do see him in 22 CF 2478. Judge, we still need to set depositions with CAC related to Mr. Williams' case. That's something that's certainly in the pipeline, but it hasn't happened yet. So we need a continuance to schedule the depositions for Mr. Williams in this case.
No objection.
Okay. Mr. Williams, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jasmine Wilson. Ms. Wilson is approaching in 22 CF 3081. We have reached an agreement in Ms. Wilson's case for an adjudication of guilt, plea as charged, time served, $515 court cost, $150 cost of defense. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Ms. Wilson, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand out. Ms. Wilson, did you read the plea agreement? Do you understand it?
Yes.
Did you sign it?
Yes.
And Judge, she does have a previous adjudication.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wilson, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court costs and the public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that?
6 months.
Okay. If you fail to pay it within 6 months, it'll go to a civil lien or judgment. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Amy Ziska. Ms. Ziska is approaching. Judge, Ms. Ziska is here with a Z, is here in 22 CF 2953. I did give my contact information to her today. She wishes to review the case with me. There is a 24-month probation offer on the table at this point that we would ask the state to keep that open. I'm going to request a continuance so that I can sit down and review her case with her and see if we're in a position to come back before the court for an early plea or not.
Okay. Ms. Ziska, all that being said, I'll see you here no later than May 8th at 9 o'clock. If you want to avoid about 400 people, hopefully it'll be less than that.
Okay.
You can enter a plea before that. Just let Mr. McKinney know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Come in so we can sit down and go through everything. Is there anybody else in the courtroom represented by Jason McKinney?
No, but Marty Notes testimony.
Well, then I'll defer to Mr. Notes.
Okay, Mr. Notes.
There's a Katrina Reno, who's not here this morning, but she called my office and I asked her to be here at 1:30.
Okay,
We
good.
did issue the capias, so I'm asking you to recall the
I
capias.
withdraw the capias for Ms. Reno.
And if we could set it for May 8th. It's an indication.
Okay. So we'll continue it until May 8th at 9 o'clock. I'll see you then. Make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Notes, okay? Thank you, ma'am.
On my office.
Your Honor, everybody else is here to see your names.
Okay. As far as the interpreter cases to the jail, any luck on having the Portuguese defendant available? We also have Mr. Nettle here. Mr. Nettle, you have an inmate client, and Mr. Reed, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, Judge, I have Douglas Spence.
Douglas Spence, he's not. Okay, he's not the Portuguese interpreter.
We need the Portuguese interpreter's client first.
If you can,
The Portuguese interpreters here.
yes, ma'am. We're trying to get the defendant.
Oh, I see.
If you can do that, Jill, Pat, can you do that? Good. Okay. Since we've been working 2 hours, we're going to take a 10-minute recess. Pat will talk to the jail about the cases with the interpreter. And hopefully the jail can accommodate that to the best they can within their pods. So we're in recess for 10 minutes.
Dixie Dan Powell for your recent induction into the National Trial Lawyers Top 100. The National Trial Lawyers Top 100 is an organization celebrating premier trial lawyers from across the country who meet stringent qualifications as civil and/or criminal defense lawyers.
Thank you, please be seated. Okay, to the jail. Jail, you've got the docket. Tell me who's next. Okay. Okay, to Madam Interpreter, the Portuguese interpreter, if you'll raise your right hand, Ms. Davis.
Oh, certainly, Your Honor.
You have to raise your right hand. There you go. Do you swear that you to accurately interpret from Portuguese to English and English to Portuguese the matters that come before the court?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. For the record, Elizabeth Davis, Portuguese interpreter.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. Mr. Clines?
We're waiting on Mr. D'Souza. Your Honor, this is Mr. Vinicius Cassiano D'Souza.
Pois é o senhor Vinícius Cassiano de Souza.
Mr. D'Souza, do you still want me to enter this plea agreement that you signed last week?
Senhor de Souza, o senhor ainda deseja que eu entre então com esse acordo de declaração que o senhor assinou na semana passada?
Sim.
Yes.
Your Honor, I did go over this plea agreement with Mr. Cassiano D'Souza at the Okloosa County Jail.
Meritíssimo, eu expliquei todo esse acordo então da declaração quando eu verifiquei diretamente no condado, na prisão do condado de Okaloosa.
We were using language line as an interpreter in that situation.
Nós estávamos usando o sistema da language line como intérprete nessa situação.
I have actually prepared two plea agreements. One is in English and one I had translated into Portuguese using Google Translate.
Tenho aqui dois formulários, na verdade. Um formulário está em inglês e o outro está em português, e eu usei o Google Tradutor para fazer a tradução.
I actually gave copies of both plea agreements to Mr. D'Souza at the jail.
Eu, na verdade, dei as duas cópias dos dois acordos de declaração para o senhor de Souza enquanto na prisão.
And I personally read to him, in particular, number 2 of all the rights that he is giving up by entering this plea agreement.
E eu li a ele pessoalmente, especificamente o número 2, com relação aos direitos que ele está renunciando, então, nessa declaração.
And in addition, also number 5, the statement about deportation proceedings shall commence or shall be subject to. He is well aware that there may be immigration consequences here.
E também com relação ao direito número 5, onde há declaração que pode haver consequências com relação à deportação, e ele está ciente com relação às consequências de imigração.
And he has decided he wanted to just go ahead and enter the plea and take his chances with that.
E ele mesmo assim decidiu então de se declarar e da mesma forma só continuar com as chances dele mesmo dessa forma.
So at this time, he will enter a no contest plea to the lesser included offense of misdemeanor battery.
Então, no momento, ele está entrando com uma declaração de que não se opõe, não contesta a contravenção menor, que foi a lesão corporal, que foi de valor menor.
He will be placed on 1 year of probation and have no violent contact with Marcio Vitor de Limo. That's his brother.
E ele vai ser colocado, então, numa suspensão condicional da pena por 1 ano e não terá nenhum contato com o senhor Márcio Vitor de Lima, que é o seu irmão.
He would be supervised by Judicial Correction Services and be assessed misdemeanor court costs and $150 in public defender fees.
E ele vai ser supervisionado, então, pela assessoria da parte da condicional, terá custos judiciais e também o valor de 150 da Defensoria Pública.
And there would be a withhold of adjudication.
E aí, nesse caso, terá a retenção do julgamento.
Does the court want this second Portuguese language?
I would say let's file it.
Okay, that's why I had it done.
I would think so.
Ok.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Nesse caso, o juiz, então, gostaria de ter também essa versão em português. Bem, nós vamos protocolá-la de qualquer forma. Posso me aproximar? Sim.
Mr. Souza, if you'll please raise your right hand.
Senhor Souza, por favor, levante sua mão direita.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
E o senhor jura de dizer a verdade, toda a verdade, não somente a verdade, que Deus lhe ajude?
Sim.
Yes.
You can put your hand down.
Pode abaixar a sua mão.
Mr. Souza, the one thing that Mr. Kleins didn't state, that in the plea agreement, you'd also have to pay the $50 per month cost of supervision. Do you understand that?
Senhor, uma coisa que não foi mencionada aqui, mas que o senhor deve saber, aqui nesse acordo da declaração, o senhor terá que pagar $50 por mês pelo custo da sua supervisão. O senhor entende isso? I understand. Yes.
Mr. Sosa, did you read the plea agreement?
Senhor de Souza, o senhor leu esse acordo da declaração?
Sim.
Yes.
Do you understand it?
E o senhor o compreendeu?
Sim.
Yes.
Did you sign it?
O senhor o assinou?
Sim.
Yes.
Mr. Sosa, the only other thing that I have to say, Mr. Kleins touched on it. I'm not a federal court, I'm a state court, so I'm not in charge of deportation.
E outra coisa que eu gostaria de dizer ao senhor é que, na verdade, eu não sou um juiz federal. Eu só trabalho na parte do juiz estadual, então não estou envolvido com imigração.
I used to say that entering this plea may subject you to deportation.
Porque o senhor viu que, entrando com essa declaração, isso pode sujeitá-lo à deportação.
But it's my understanding that the appellate court has said that I need to say, do you understand that entering this plea shall subject you to deportation?
Então, me parece que é isso a linguagem que é colocada pela segunda instância. Então, é só para o senhor entender, então, que entrando com essa declaração pode submeter o senhor a um processo de deportação.
So knowing that, do you still wish to enter the plea?
Então, sabendo disso tudo, ainda assim o senhor deseja entrar com essa declaração?
Sim.
Yes.
I do accept your plea, Mr. Sosa.
Senhor de Souza, eu aceito então a sua declaração.
Adjudication has withheld your sentence to 1 year of probation.
Então, o seu julgamento ele foi segurado. O senhor está sendo agora, vai ter que ter 1 ano de liberdade condicional.
You'll have no violent contact with your brother.
O senhor não terá nenhum tipo de contato violento com seu irmão.
The probation will be supervised by JCS at $50 a month.
E a sua supervisão será feita pelo JCS no valor de $50 por mês.
And you'll need to pay the court cost and the $150 public defender's fee during your probation.
Aí o senhor também tem que pagar os custos judiciais e o valor de $150 da Defensoria Pública enquanto está sob a condicional.
Thank you, Mr. Sosa. Good luck to you, sir.
Muito obrigado, Sr. Souza. Boa sorte ao senhor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, Mr. Sosa.
Thank you, Honor. Anything else the interpreter can assist with?
I don't think so. Thank you so much. Good seeing you again.
Thank you. You too. Have a good day.
You too.
It's your turn.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Today's your still under oath.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor. What we want to do on Mr. Juan Gabriel Morales Santiago's case, Your Honor, is we would like to leave it set. Apparently, we have a new deal. And what we'd like to do is leave it set for next Monday.
Lo que queremos hacer, su señoría, en el caso del señor Morales Santiago, es dejarlo programado para el lunes próximo. Me parece que tengo un arreglo hecho con la fiscalía y quiero que él esté presente aquí el lunes 20 de marzo.
Okay, so you want it for plea continue or plea trial?
Your Honor, what we would like to do is clear for trial for next Monday.
Su señoría, lo que queremos hacer es dejar este caso programado para el lunes para aceptar algún tipo de oferta o programarlo para juicio.
Judge, what we're doing is leaving it for plea or continuance. I apologize for next Monday.
Me disculpo, su señoría. Lo que queremos hacer es dejar este caso programado para el lunes para aceptar alguna oferta o continuarlo.
Mr. Catalina, you weren't here this morning, but I announced to everybody, the docket is twice as large as it was before COVID.
Señor Catalini, lo que yo dije esta mañana fue el listado de acusados es doble de cuando estábamos antes de la pandemia de COVID.
And the rules of judicial administration say that the court will take control of its docket and move cases forward.
Yes, sir.
Y el listado nos dice que la Corte es la que tiene jurisdicción en programar estos casos para seguir adelantando el progreso del caso.
And I've drawn an arbitrary line at any cases that are older than 22 CF 1500 cases.
Y yo hice una línea porque quiero resolver los casos que terminen el 22 CF 1500 o más bajos.
That the court really needs to get those cases disposed of, get them to trial as quickly as possible.
La Corte necesita que estos casos se resuelvan, ya sea por el medio de algún arreglo o por ir a juicio.
So knowing that yours is older than that, why shouldn't it be set for a plea or trial?
Sabiendo que su caso es más antiguo que este, porque no lo podemos programar para aceptar alguna oferta o juicio.
Your Honor, what I wanted to point out to the court, I haven't had this case for that long. I've had this case for a lot less than that. I think I've had this case for about 2.5 months. So.
Su señoría, lo que le quiero dejar saber a esta corte es que yo acabo de tomar este caso. Este caso me parece que lo tengo como por algunos 2 meses.
Okay. So I'm going to set it for a plea or continue, and I'll see you and your client on the 20th at 9 o'clock.
Very well, Your Honor, and I would just like to state that I will be seeing him on Thursday.
Voy a programar este caso para el lunes 20, ya sea para aceptar alguna declaración de la Fiscalía o para continuarlo. Su señoría, gracias. Tengo planificado ir a ver a mi cliente este jueves.
Thank you, Mr. Catalina.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have some more cases.
Okay.
I have some more cases. Do you want me to do them later?
I think the jail's going to be calling the docket, so I'm just following what they're bringing up.
Very well. Thank you, Judge.
I think they're doing the interpreter cases first, and then they'll do the other cases after that.
Is this Mr. Hernandez Soto?
Este es el señor Hernández Soto.
Lozano.
Lozano Soto.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Osmi Lozano Soto.
Su señoría, este es el señor Osmi Lozano Soto.
I met with Mr. Lozano Soto last week at the jail for the first time.
Yo me reuní con el señor Lozano Soto en la cárcel la semana pasada por primera vez.
It looks like there was some kind of a failure to appear at some point prior to being appointed to the case.
Parece que hubo una falta de comparecencia a corte antes de que a mí me asignaran este caso.
Mr. Lozano Soto, for your benefit, I talked to the state this morning, and the state is not willing to plead this to just no valid driver's license, at least now.
Señor Lozano, hablé con la fiscalía esta mañana y la fiscalía no está dispuesta a aceptar ninguna declaración solamente por el cargo de no licencia hasta este momento.
Okay. What they're proposing right now is if you entered a plea as charged.
Lo que ellos están proponiendo es que usted acepte una declaración tal y como ellos radicaron los cargos en su contra.
So I'm going to come to the jail and I'm going to talk to you about some proposals that the state has made.
Voy a regresar a la cárcel a verlo para compartir con usted unas propuestas que la fiscalía nos ha hecho.
I'm going to ask to leave this on for next Monday.
Voy a pedirle a la corte que dejen este caso programado para el próximo lunes.
And you and I will talk at the jail sometime before next Monday.
Y usted y yo vamos a hablar en la cárcel en algún momento antes del lunes.
And I'll explain everything that I'm talking about in more detail.
Y le puedo explicar en más detalle todo lo que estamos hablando hoy.
Okay.
Mr. Clines, are you seeking plea or trial?
Plea or continue.
Okay, since this is a 2021 case, why isn't it plea or
So,
trial?
it looks
And
like
hold
Mr.
electricity.
Okay. Entonces este caso lo vamos a dejar programado para el lunes para declarar y continuar, sí. Y el juez dice, este caso es del 2021, ¿por qué este caso no ha progresado y por qué está pidiendo más tiempo?
So, Mr. Lozano Soto was originally represented by Gillis Powell.
Originalmente el señor Lozano estaba representado por el señor Gillis Powell.
And I don't know what Mr. Powell did on the case, but Mr. Lozano Soto failed to appear while he was represented by Mr. Powell.
No sé qué hizo este señor Gillis con la representación del señor Lozano, pero mientras lo estaba representando, el señor Lozano no compareció a corte.
So you haven't had the case very long.
Correct. I just got it.
O sea, usted no ha tenido el caso hace mucho tiempo. Correcto. Acabo de recibir este caso.
Mr. Lozano Soto, I will see you on Monday at 9 o'clock.
Señor Lozano Soto, nos vemos el lunes a las 9 de la mañana.
But Mr. Clines will come see you in the jail before that.
Pero el señor Clines va a ir a la cárcel a verlo antes del lunes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Mr. Clines, just so you know, I did plea continue, okay?
Okay, that's fine, you're right. Your Honor, this is Kerlin Miranda Perdón.
Buenas tardes, su señoría. Este es el señor Kerlin Miranda Perdomo.
I'm using an interpreter now just simply because of the stakes that are involved.
Estoy utilizando una intérprete en este momento por lo que estamos enfrentando.
However, when I met with him at the jail last week, he's actually been working on his English and we had an entire meeting in English.
Pero cuando lo fui a ver la semana pasada a la cárcel, él está tratando de aprender inglés y toda nuestra reunión se fue efectuada en inglés.
He has agreed to the state's proposal to resolve this case.
Él ha estado de acuerdo en aceptar la propuesta de la fiscalía para resolver su caso.
The agreed upon disposition is that he would enter a plea as charged.
Para terminar este caso, él está de acuerdo en aceptar una declaración tal y como ellos radicaron los cargos en su contra.
He would be sentenced to 9 months in the Okloosa County Jail with credit for all time served.
La sentencia es 9 meses en la cárcel del condado de Okaoosa con crédito por todo el tiempo ya servido.
That sentence would be served as a condition of probation, which would terminate immediately upon his release.
Esa sentencia es a cambio de probatoria y va a caducar tan pronto lo dejen en libertad.
There would be a withhold of adjudication.
La adjudicación va a ser retenida.
He would be assessed $615 in court costs,
Tiene que pagar $615 en cargos de corte
$150 in public defender fees,
y $150 para la defensa pública.
and we did go over the immigration consequences here.
Nosotros repasamos las consecuencias de inmigración con él.
So he would just like to enter the plea and see what happens.
Él solamente quiere aceptar o que la corte acepte esta declaración y a ver qué sucede.
Is that, you still want to do that, Kerlin?
¿Usted todavía quiere aceptar esto, Kerlin? Of course.
Okay.
If you'll please raise your right hand.
Por favor, levante su mano derecha.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Usted jura decir la verdad y nada más que la verdad y que le ayude Dios? Of course.
Do you understand that you're waiving your right to a trial by jury? You can put your hand down, I'm sorry.
Puede bajar su mano, señor. Usted sabe que está renunciando al derecho de ir a un juicio por jurado.
If I accept your plea,
Si yo acepto su declaración,
¿Eso qué significa? Disculpe.
what does that mean? I'm sorry.
means that there will be no jury trial if you are sentenced to 9 months in the Okloosa County Jail.
Eso significa que no va a haber juicio por jurado si yo acepto la sentencia de los 9 meses en la cárcel del condado.
Sí.
Yes.
I am a state court, not a federal court, so I don't control immigration at all.
Yo soy un juez de la de la Corte del Condado. Yo no soy juez de Corte Federal y yo no tengo control sobre lo que haga inmigración.
But the appellate courts tell me that I'm supposed to tell you that if you enter this plea, you shall be subject to deportation.
La Corte de Apelación nos ha dado instrucciones que anunciemos lo siguiente, que al aceptar esta declaración a usted lo van a poner en proceso de inmigración.
Hello.
Do you still wish to enter the plea?
De todas formas, ¿usted quiere aceptar esta oferta y aceptar la declaración?
Sí.
Yes.
I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld.
Acepto su declaración, la adjudicación criminal es retenida.
You're sentenced to 9 months in Okloosa County Jail with credit for all time served.
Su sentencia es 9 meses en la cárcel del condado con crédito por todo el tiempo servido.
That is as a condition of probation.
Esto es a una condición de probatoria.
Your probation will terminate at the time that you're released from the Okloosa County Jail.
Su probatoria va a concluir una vez lo dejen en libertad de la cárcel del condado de Okaoosa.
You'll need to pay the court costs and the $150 public defender's fee.
Tiene que pagar los cargos de corte y los $150 para la defensa pública.
How long will you need to pay that after you get out of jail?
Una vez que lo dejen en libertad, ¿cuánto tiempo usted necesita para pagar estas cantidades?
¿Puedo tomar un año?
Can I ask for a year?
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
So if you fail to pay those amounts within a year from today, a year from your being released from the jail, then they will go to a civil lien or judgment.
Si usted, una vez que usted lo dejen salir en libertad, usted tiene un año para pagar estas cantidades de dinero. Si no las paga durante ese año, esas cantidades van a ser enviadas a un gravamen o a un juzgado civil.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
And Your Honor, just before I turn Madam Interpreter over to Mr. McKinney, if we can go back to Mr. D'Souza, there was a failure to appear in that case. I just talked with Mr. Gomez, and the state's going to take no action on any failure to appear in Mr. D'Souza's case.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez.
Stand ready.
Mr. McKinney?
Mr. Hernandez Soto?
Este es el señor Hernández Soto.
Sí.
Yes.
Judge, I've been appointed to represent Wilfredo Hernandez Soto in 19 CF 505.
Su señoría, a mí me asignaron a representar al señor Wilfredo Hernández Soto en el caso 19 CF 0505.
It looks like from reviewing the record that he failed to appear in November of 2021.
Al revisar el expediente, me doy cuenta que él no compareció a la corte en noviembre del 2021.
Was recently arrested on February 8th.
Recientemente fue arrestado el 8 de febrero.
It came to my attention last Wednesday.
Y eso me lo trajeron para mi atención el miércoles pasado.
Based on that, even if we were to discuss offers on the record,
Basado en eso, aunque vayamos a discutir ofertas que están en el expediente,
I haven't had a chance to discuss immigration consequences, if any, with Mr. Hernandez Soto.
yo no he tenido la oportunidad de discutir con el señor Hernández Soto las consecuencias que esto le puede traer con inmigración, si alguna.
From reviewing the charges,
Al revisar los cargos,
this looks like something that we should be able to resolve.
esto es algo que deberíamos de poder resolver.
But I'd like to come back on docket day plea or continue so that I might have a chance to meet with him at the county jail if I can line up an interpreter that quickly.
Pero me gustaría programar este caso para el próximo lunes para aceptar alguna declaración o continuar el caso, y voy a tratar de ir a visitarlo a la cárcel antes del lunes si puedo conseguir un intérprete a último momento que vaya conmigo.
Mr. Hernandez Soto, I'll see you next Monday in the morning.
Señor Soto, nos vemos el lunes que viene en la mañana.
Okay.
Judge, that will be set plea or continue?
Yes, sir.
¿Y esto va a ser para aceptar alguna declaración o para continuar el caso? Sí, señor. That is all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, I thought they said 4, but that was it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did the 4.
Gosh. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, Teresa. Okay, Jill, you're calling the docket.
Judge, as they get somebody, I do see a Richard Stevens on Zoom, who I had called earlier.
Okay.
May we call Richard Stevens?
Yes, sir, Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
Judge, I represent Mr. Stevens.
Excuse me?
And I go back on my notes, and it's 22 CF 272. I'm going to request a continuance for Mr. Stevens' case. We are working through additional evidence, and we've done the lion's share of the depositions, given that it's a digitally motivated case. I do have issues with the forensic digital examiner. As an expert, that I run into problems in several of my cases with a Mr. John Sawicki, who has been taking way longer than he should do. But I'm going to request a continuance based on that.
Okay. Any objection from
No
Mr.
objection.
Mr. Stevens, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes.
Okay. I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, to the jail. Yes, ma'am, what's your name?
Jennifer Gilbert.
Thanks, Miss Gilbert. Mr. Noakes is coming to the left.
Judge, Ms. Gilbert's got 2 cases on the docket. The newer one is 22 CF 1522. Judge, I wasn't appointed to that case until sometime mid or end of October. I'm wanting to take, it's a fairly serious charge, and I've not received discovery from the state. However, their records show that it was sent in January. They're going to send it again, and so I'm asking you to continue the case.
Okay. You say you were appointed in October?
Yes, sir.
And it's a 21 case, but then there was also a 22 case. To the state as far as the discovery, Mr. Noakes?
Mr. Noakes stated correctly. Our records show that it was sent January 4th. I don't believe that he ever got it. We will send it out. We will resend it out again to make sure that he gets it as soon as possible. I'll make a note actually at the end right now when I get some time just to make sure we get that sent out.
Okay. So, Mr. Noakes, you just want a flat continuance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Gilbert, do you understand what Mr. Noakes is doing in your case?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Gilbert, I'll see you back here no later than May 8th, but if Mr. Noakes wants to set a hearing before that date, I'll see you then, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's what time we're at school. May 8th, my son's birthday is coming around.
Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Ma'am, Tina Gore.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Stevens.
Good afternoon, Judge. David Stevens on behalf of Tina Gore in 21 CF 2929. We have depositions set for March the 21st, which is after docket day, but before we jury review. I talked to Mr. Gomez. I think we were in agreement. If we can skip docket day and just leave it set for review, plea or continue, let us get those depots done the 21st and come in the 22nd, hopefully resolve the case.
So, plea or continue?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gomez?
No, I agree, Your Honor.
Okay, this is a 21 case, so trial next time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Ms. Gore, I'll see you back here no later than May 8th. We'll be looking at going to trial at the end of that month if it's not resolved.
He said the 22nd of March.
What's going to happen on the 22nd?
Well, I think it was the 23rd. I don't think it's the 22nd. I think it's whatever the review date is. The idea was to bring her back on that day because we have deposition on the 21st, so we wouldn't be able to resolve it on the 20th.
So it's going to be plea continued?
Yes.
Yes.
So the idea is that if we can get it put on that day, then we will on that Thursday.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said it, Ms. Gore. So I'll see
Yes, sir.
I'll see you next week on March 23rd. and we'll see what happens with your case. So next week, March 23rd. Thank you for correcting
It was
me.
my birthday, and I'm supposed to be getting out.
Oh, okay, good. Happy birthday. I'll see you then.
Thank you very much.
Nelson.
Hello, Ms. Nelson.
Scott.
Mr. Collins?
Yeah, this is Dan Nelson. We will announce ready for trial in 22 CF 1855.
Okay. Ms. Nelson, so that means that I'll see you, do we want to schedule it? Well, I guess you need the extra time. So, Ms. Nelson, that means that I'll see you next week on March 20th, and we're looking at going to trial at the end of this month, okay? So I'll see you.
Yes, so can I,
Go ahead.
can I ask you one question? Mr. Kleins, we're going for the battery charge, right?
Correct. Yeah, there's two cases. So you've got this driving on a suspended license. That case is not being set for trial. That's the one where you were on top of the van with the power lines and all that. So that's not being set for trial. It's the one from July with the dog and all that.
Okay. With the what?
With the battery count. You're right. You're correct. The stun or the flare gun, all that stuff.
You're right. Okay. My question is, sir, with the battery, it was criminal mischief and lock petty theft and the flare gun. It was all that one day. But they keep separating them charges, so we're going to get it all together where I don't have to keep rolling in here?
We're going to give it all to the jury that day. All four of those counts. Okay? I'll come see you at the jail. I don't know when, but it'll be before Monday, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Is that here? Bring them on up.
What's up?
Okay. We've got some inmates that are here live, so
Yes, I believe that's going to be Rico Garcia.
we'll find out.
Let's see who we have. This is Ms. Thruston.
Good.
Judge, may we put this on for change of plea on Monday docket day?
Yes, sir.
That way she can enter a plea live from the courtroom.
Right, and I think that the jail's going to transport anyway on Monday.
Correct.
So if we just do plea or continue, then she'll be here on Monday.
Correct, that's the goal.
Okay, so I'll see you Monday.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, Ms. Walker.
Hello.
Who represents Ms. Walker? Ms. Walker, who represents you? Do you have an attorney? Mr. Cotton. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me get to your.
Judge, Ms. Walker, she had her other case had already been continued by motion. So this morning, Mr. Cotton continued this case. I was tracking along with that.
Okay, so I'll see Ms. Walker on the 8th.
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Walker, I'm sorry, your attorney, I think I asked him to let the jail know, and he said that you agreed to the continuance. You're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll see you no later than May 8th.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, Michelle, I talked to the state this morning. The state is okay with the changes that we made to the pretrial intervention agreement at the jail. So you'll be on this agreement just for the carrying of the concealed firearm. The state will also delete the requirement for the restitution. Everything else is the same. It's just literally the same agreement that you signed at the jail last week. So, Your Honor, I talked with probation, and they've requested that I, was it file it or email?
How about the supervision?
What's that? Email. So, Michelle, when you get released from jail, you're going to have to go back to Zeta, okay? Call her up. I'm going to get her this agreement since you're in jail and you can't go over there yourself. So when you get out of jail, go call her directly, and then we'll get the agreement to her as soon as I can, probably first thing in the morning.
Okay, it's running concurrent with the
It's
PTI?
it's concurrent and it's coterminous with the PTI agreement 21 CF 1190.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Blunt, don't go anywhere. Mr. Kleins, what's the case number? Who is this?
So this is Michelle Gloa, and the case is 21 CF 663.
And so how is Ms. Glowa going to get out of jail to do what you're asking her to do?
Michelle, what he's basically asking is, how are they going to know to release you? You might have to stay overnight tonight. I don't know. You know, I got to get Z to this agreement. I don't know if jail can help us. I mean, the intent of the parties is to put her on a diversion program here. I mean, part of the language in this is that she will be technically on an ROR bond while she's on that program, if the court would grant her an ROR bond.
Any objection to that?
No objection.
Okay. So, Ms. Glowa, I'm reducing your bond to an ROR bond. Make sure that you stay in touch with Mr. Kleins and fulfill those requirements, okay? And then your case will drop off. For
the jail's benefit, Your Honor, actually her bond has been revoked, so the court would have to reinstate her ROR bond.
Reinstates her bond as an ROR bond. And the jail can release based on the minute sheet or oral ruling. Thank you, Ms. Glover.
And Your Honor, because I know the court is so busy this coming Thursday, the motion for an order to show cause against Mr. Peacock was in this case. However, since it's a case not in existence anymore, I will cancel that hearing. I haven't had a chance to talk to Mr. Peacock's attorney. I still need to do that, and I intend to do that tomorrow. But I know that this court's going to be super busy on Thursday, and without a case or controversy, I don't really see the point of doing this.
I appreciate it.
So,
thanks, Mr. Klein.
Yes. Scott? Hey, should I expect to be released this afternoon?
Probably. What the judge did is he reinstated your ROR bond. So hopefully you should get out today, okay? But I know the jail's super busy.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Leslie Lucchese.
Thanks, Ms. Lucchese. Mr. Klein?
Your Honor, this is Ms. Lucchese. So the situation is we've been informed by members of the Sheriff's Office that the FBI has actually taken this case. I've talked with Mr. Gomez, and he's attempting to look into that. We actually had depositions scheduled last week, and the main investigator called my office and said, we don't even have the evidence anymore. So the FBI took it. So we're trying to get the state to get to a position where it could make a decision on whether it's going to proceed or hand this off to the federal government. They're not in a position to do that right now. So all I can do, I guess, would be to ask to continue this, charge it to the state. But hopefully this will be something where they don't need to be in a courtroom to make a decision on how to proceed.
Okay. Any objection from the state?
No objection, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Lucchese, I'm going to continue your case. Mr. Kleins will continue to keep an eye on it and do as much as he can if he needs to set a hearing with me before May 8th. Hopefully your case will be resolved well before that, but if not, Mr. Kleins will bring you before this court, and I'll do anything that I can do within my power, okay?
Leslie, just so you know, I'm not going to wait until late April to figure out what's going on here. I'm continuing to try to keep my foot on the gas pedal as much as I can.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've been here
I know.
2 full months and nothing.
I am painfully aware of how, I know how long you've been there, and I'm trying to get a resolution. I just don't want you to think this is getting kicked 45 days down the road before I pick this file up again.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Judge, this is Dina Robeson. Ms. Robeson is before the court in 22 CF 1341. We have completed some depositions. We still need FDLE related to drug charges. We already have depositions scheduled in April of the co-defendant who's in a plea in this case. Procedurally, I would request a continuance until May 8th. I know Ms. Robeson, since she's recently found her way to the county jail, wants to ask for an opportunity to ask for reinstated bond. So I'd like to file that and have the court do that as soon as possible, if the court would allow. But procedurally, I would like to continue the case until May 8th.
Okay. Ms. Robeson, so I'll see you no later than May 8th, but if Mr. McKinney sets a motion hearing before that, then I'll see you before then, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
And we'll ask for the bond hearing on the soonest available date, and we'll get that filed probably tomorrow.
Okay, so that'll be the 16th?
We'll certainly try.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mary.
Leslie?
To the jail, we'll take this inmate, but then we've got 5 that were transported over here, so for Judge Mason's docket, but they remain for mine, which is fine, so we'll do those 5 live after this inmate, just so you know. Okay? Yes, sir.
Judge, this is my case. This is Leslie Ray. Ms. Ray is before the court in 22 CF 2513. Judge, I've kept a handle on the mental health report on this case, and I filed a notice that we would rely upon insanity at the time of the offense. The report supports that. All that being said, then I'd like to come back on Monday, plea or continue, because there have been discussions with the state in an effort to resolve this case, and I'd like to keep that opportunity, if it's possible, without setting the case for trial this go-around.
Okay, so plea or continue, and I need to look at that report before Monday and make a determination.
I don't believe it's a determination for the court, since it's a mental state evaluation.
Okay.
That's something that has been provided to the state, and I have filed the appropriate notice of insanity, which means that that will lead us to negotiations rather than presenting that at a jury trial would be my expectation.
So plea or continue. Ms. Ray, that means that I'll see you on Monday, I think in the morning, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
And my understanding
Have a good day.
is she is going to be evaluated for mental health court on Friday by Ms. Adams.
Good.
So that may be an option.
Excellent.
Coming out next, Your Honor, will be Tommy Daniel Lucas.
Mr. Lucas, okay? Who represents Mr. Lucas?
You'll step out to the lectern for me, please.
No, Mr. Lucas.
Should be,
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Tommy Lucas. I have proposed a plea offer to the state that would resolve these cases today. Mr. Gomez has informed me the state's not in a position to do that. I can tell the court the alleged victim in the 22 CF 2788 case is Mr. Lucas's brother, who himself is on the docket. He was before the court earlier today. I need to talk to Mr. Nopes because I would like to propose Mr. Lucas to move the case forward. And if we get any sort of action between now and May 8th, I will certainly advance Mr. Lucas on the docket. The problem is I can't even ask the court really for a bond hearing at this point because of a violent felony offender special concern designation. So I'm trying everything I can to get this resolved as quick as I can for Mr. Lucas. And if we get some kind of movement on it, I will come talk to you the second I know, okay? But I just need to ask for a one-cycle continuance, but I'm not going to see you probably in like 2 weeks.
Mr. Kleins, why is it taking so long to get where we are on the 21 case?
Those are VOP cases, Your Honor.
22 case, Your Honor.
Gotcha, 22. Okay. Mr. Lucas, so you want a plea or continue or just a continue?
I would like to just ask for continuance because like Mr. Gomez was saying earlier, I don't want to bite off more than we can chew. And then.
So, Mr. Lucas, that means that I'll see you back here no later than May 8th, but if your attorney sets a hearing before that date, I'll see you then. Thank you,
Coming
sir.
out next, Your Honor, will be Tyrone Parker.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Parker. Good, how are you?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Tyrone Parker. We have reached an agreement with the state to resolve this. He and I went over the plea terms at the jail last week. The agreement is that Mr. Parker is going to enter a no contest plea on counts 1, 2, and 4. Count 3 would be nolle prost. That is the only felony count in this case. In exchange for the plea, the agreed upon terms of the plea would be that Mr. Parker would be sentenced to time served. He would be assessed misdemeanor court costs $150 in public defender fees, and he would be adjudicated of those misdemeanors.
Thank you.
May I approach?
Yes, sir. Mr. Parker, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Parker, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parker, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty of the misdemeanors. Count 3 is dismissed. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay that after you, well, how long will it take you to pay that?
I'm not sure because I have to go through employment.
I'm sorry?
I'm not too sure because I have to reevaluate employment, but.
Okay. If we do it 3 months, you think that's enough?
Too long.
Okay. So if you fail to pay it within 90 days, then it will go to a civil lien or judgment. If you get a job and it's later than that and you need more time, you can talk to the clerk about extending it, or you can come back to me and ask me for it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Parker, I need to get your fingerprints, so if you'll just step over here just for a moment, please.
Next up will be,
Should be,
oh,
Mr. Poe, Jason Poe, P-O-W-E.
Thank you.
But I think he's got to file a notice with hands too. Your Honor, this is Jason Poe. He is on this Thursday's docket for a bond motion. I talked with Mr. Dyram this morning, and he's going to be taking this case. I don't know if he's filed a notice of appearance, but I did give him a copy of that bond motion, so I would expect Mr. Dyram to be in here on Thursday arguing that motion for Mr. Poe.
Okay.
So if we could just leave this case on, just advance it to the 3/16 docket, and then you and Mr. Dyram can figure out how to proceed.
So we continue?
Yes, sir.
Well, no, it's just a continuance and then the bond hearing Thursday.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Post, so that means your underlying case will go until May 8th, but I will see you on Thursday on your motion for bond hearing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Should bring us to Jonathan Schneider.
Judge, I represent Jonathan Schneider in 2 cases, 22 CF 3116 and 22 CF 2828. Judge, I'd spoken with Mr. Schneider last week related to potential resolutions. We have an agreement. I don't have a plea agreement in writing. It would be a plea of no contest as charged in 22 CF 3116 to a third-degree felony possession of controlled substance and count 2 of possession of drug paraphernalia. And in 22 CF 2828 would be plea to a 1-count information possession of controlled substance. The agreement would be for an adjudication of guilt, 6 months in the Okloosa County Jail with credit for time served concurrent, no probation. The standard court cost in each, which is $615. It would be a total of $250 cost of defense.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Schneider, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand up. Mr. Schneider, so do you understand that if I accept your plea that you're waiving your right to trials by jury?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you understand what the sentence will be?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me or Mr. McKinney or the state?
No, sir.
Mr. Schneider, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 6 months in the Okloosa County Jail. That's to run concurrently, run at the same time. All of those are with credit for all time served. You need to pay the court costs, two different court costs, total of $250 public defender's fees. How long will you need to pay those when you get out of jail?
If you could give me 90 days, sir, that'd be fine.
Okay, so if you fail to pay them within 3 months after you're released from jail, then they'll go to a civil lien or judgment. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Judge, if I can approach the score sheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Willis.
Sure, Mr.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine.
Judge, if we catch Mr. Willis up to speed, because he's going to be hearing this for the first time in 22 CF 3189, I reviewed the discovery last Thursday and recognized a conflict. I filed a motion to withdraw the next day, last Friday. I don't believe Your Honor has even had a chance to sign that order yet, but the motion was filed on Friday. So I would certify that there is a conflict in Mr. Willis's case and ask to withdraw and ask for him to come back on Monday so that he could have new counsel.
Right. So the motion to withdraw is granted. So the Regional Conflict Counsel, Ms. Jakewitz, will be representing you. And there's Mr.
And I just asked to continue it, Judge. I won't even have time to see him before Monday.
Okay. So Ms. Jakewitz will come see you in the jail, but your case is continued until May 8th. If Ms. Jakewitz sets a hearing before that date, then she can schedule it up, okay? She can schedule up a motion if she files one. So it's no later than May 8th.
And Judge, he's got pending Phoenix House and Keaton applications, so if that comes through, then Ms. Jacob can always add it back to the docket.
Good. Excellent. Yes, sir. Thank you. That's everyone that's live. Now we're back to the jail.
Should be Ms. Sandlin on via video at the jail, Your Honor. That's who we picked up with.
Sounds good. Back to the jail. Thank you, sir. Hello, Sandlin.
Ms. Allen is before the court in 23 CF 29. In that case, we're still awaiting discovery. She does have a felony violation of probation in 21 CF 1183. So at this point, I would be forced to ask for a continuance. However, I would like to add this back to the docket if we're able to resolve it once we have a chance to review the discovery.
Absolutely. Ms. Sandlin, I'll see you no later than May 8th. But if your attorney files a motion before that date, I'll see you then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
As soon as I get that, we're going to go through it, Ms. Andler.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Owens.
Oh, Mr. Stevens.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
I have Ms. Owens in 22 CF 2157. She will withdraw her previously entered plea of not guilty, tender plea of no contest as charged. She will be adjudicated guilty, $967 in court costs. There's a legal assistance fee. She'll be given credit for time served and have 180 days to pay all costs before they go to a judgment.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Ms. Owens, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand up. Ms. Owens, so did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Owens, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to time served. You'll need to pay the court costs and the public defender's fee. If you fail to pay those within 180 days from today, then they'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Is that all for Ms. Owens?
That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Owens. They should release you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's not what you
Yes, sir.
I'm moving on. Yeah, that's correct.
Your Honor, this is Sidney Pratt. We have reached an agreement to resolve this. At this time, Ms. Pratt would be entering a no contest plea to lesser included offense of petty theft. The agreed upon sentence she'll be sentenced to time served, be assessed misdemeanor court costs, 150 in public defender fees. She would be adjudicated of the misdemeanor. May I approach?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Ms. Pratt, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Ms. Pratt, did you read the plea agreement?
I was explained, it was explained to me.
Okay, so you didn't read it, you didn't see it?
Yes, I saw it. I signed it.
Okay. Do you understand that you're waiving your right to a trial by jury if I accept the plea?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Pratt, I do accept the plea. You're adjudicated guilty of the misdemeanor. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the misdemeanor court costs, public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay those amounts?
I'm currently unemployed, so I'm not sure of a definite answer.
Okay, how about if we say 6 months?
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay, so if you fail to pay those within 6 months, it's a civil lien. There's nothing criminal about it. There's a civil lien against it. It may adversely affect your driver's license. So just make sure you pay that off if you can. If you can't pay it within the 6 months before that time expires, send a letter to the court and ask for the court to extend that time, and we'll see what we can do, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Smith, I think. This is Mrs. Smith, Donna Smith.
Thank you. Hello, Ms. Smith. Ms. Jakowitz, come to the lectern.
Katie Jacob on behalf of Donna Smith in 22 CF 3168. Your Honor, we've reached an agreement with the state. The agreement calls for Ms. Smith to plead as charged, withhold of adjudication, $610 in court costs, and a $150 cost of defense. And we are asking the court provide her with 12 months after her release to comply with those financials. She is on disability, so she's on a very limited income.
Okay.
And may I approach?
Yes, ma'am. When you say from her release, she's going to be released today.
She should be released, yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You have to say it verbally, Ms. Smith.
She lost her voice, Your Honor,
Okay.
so she can't really talk much louder than a whisper.
Okay, so you nodded. Okay, Ms. Smith, you can put your hand down. Ms. Smith, so do you understand that if I accept your plea, that you're waiving your right to a trial by jury? Yes. Ms. Smith is nodding. Ms. Smith, did you read the plea agreement, the written plea agreement? Again, she's nodding. Do you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
She's nodding. Did you sign it? And again, she's nodding yes. Ms. Smith, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. I have to admit that's the first time I've ever done that in almost 13 years on the bench. So, Ms. Smith, I do accept your plea. Adjudication is withheld. You're sentenced. You'll just have to pay the court costs and the public defender's fee. If you fail to pay those within a year from today, then they'll go to a civil lien or judgment, okay? Thank you, Ms. Smith. Good luck to you, ma'am. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Travis Simpler, sir.
Who represents?
Mr. Durrell represents Mr. Simpler. This morning, he continued the case. There's two cases for Mr. Simpler.
Okay. One cycle, is that?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Templer, I'm sorry that Mr. Durrell didn't let the jail know that he had continued your case this morning when he came in. I think he represented to the court that you agreed to that. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir. Just don't tell me anything factually about your case, okay?
Yes, sir. It's about my bond. Can I reinstate my bond? My grandmother had a heart surgery 2.5 weeks ago, and she's not healing as planned. And I was just going to ask if God's mercy, can I please have my bond reinstated?
I've got to be fair to both sides. You've got to give notice to the state. So Mr. Durrell talked to him about filing a motion for bond, and then we'll set that well before May 8th, which is the next pretrial. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Ryan McGrath.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bond?
Hey, Brian, I did talk with the state. They would agree to 2 years of probation, all right, and 24 hours of community service. So the agreement that we talked about at the jail last week is pretty much what you were asking for. So if you wanted to enter a no contest plea today as charged, the state would agree to 2 years of probation, no violent contact with Terrence McGriff. You'd have to do an anger management program as a condition of probation, 24 hours of community service, court costs, and then 150 in public defender fees. The state does agree to allow you to keep a withhold.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do today?
Yes.
Your Honor, I do have a plea agreement. It's not been signed by Mr. McGriff because I wasn't sure if this was going to be a good agreement here. But I did leave a plea agreement with Mr. McGriff at the jail over the weekend, so he should have had a chance to read that. Okay.
Mr. McGriff, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. So, Mr. McGriff, here's what I understand, is that if you want to enter that plea, you'd be waiving your right to a trial by jury. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And that you would be, adjudication would be withheld, you'd be sentenced to 2 years probation, you'd have no violent contact. Is it with Terrence McGriff?
Terrence McGriff, yes, Your Honor.
With Terrence McGriff, you'd have to enter and successfully complete the anger management course, perform 24 hours of community service work, pay $40 per month cost of supervision, you'd have to pay the court cost, and $150 in public defender's fee. Is that what you wish to do?
I didn't hear the last part. Tell you what?
Okay, you'd have to pay $40 per month cost of supervision, and you'd have to pay the court cost and $150 public defender's fee.
Okay.
Okay, is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Mr. McGriff, I do accept your plea. Adjudication's withheld. You're sentenced to 2 years probation, no violent contact with Terrence McGriff, enter and successfully complete the anger management course, perform 24 hours of community service work, pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee, and the $40 per month cost of supervision. So they should let you out of jail today, Mr. McGriff, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
And Judge, this is the downward departure for the purposes of
Thank you.
this plea bargain.
And I believe the state would take no action on any failure to appear in that case.
That's correct.
Your Honor, future probation can be instructed to report tomorrow.
Yes. Jail, if you'll let Mr. McGriff know that he needs to report tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, probation.
Your Honor, this is Patrick Novinsky. Patrick, you still want to go with this plea?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, we did reach an agreement with the state to resolve this. At this time, Mr. Novinsky would be entering a no contest plea as charged. In exchange for the plea, he'll be sentenced to 9 months in the Okloosa County Jail with credit for all time served. He'd be assessed $615 in court costs, $150 in public defender fees, and he would be adjudicated.
Mr. Novinsky, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down, Mr. Novinsky. Mr. Novinsky, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Novinsky, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 9 months in the Okloosa County Jail with credit for all time served. You'll need to pay the court costs and the public defender's fee. How long will it take you to pay those once you get out of jail?
Is it possible to waive fees and send to collections?
Yes, sir. If you want it to go straight to collections, we'll do that.
Yes, sir.
So it's not waive fees, it's just send them to collections.
Okay, yes.
Yes, sir.
I apologize.
Okay, so they'll go straight to civil lien or collection. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Joshua Scott Salerno.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Judge, I represent Mr. Salerno. He also has a new case, 23 CF 300. I've already started working on that one, and we may have a potential agreement for probation if we could put both case numbers on docket day. That would be advancing the 23 CF 300 to that court date.
Mr. Serrano, I'll see you on Monday on both of your cases, okay?
Wait, this Monday coming up?
Yes, sir, correct, a week from today.
Okay, can I get my bond reinstated, or?
I'm gonna come talk to you between now and docket day. We may have an agreement that gets you out of jail that handles both cases, but we're not gonna have a bond hearing here today.
Okay, hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Saunders.
Cedric. Cedric Rogers.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Rogers.
How you doing, sir?
Good, doing well. Mr. Stevens.
David Stevens on behalf of Cedric Rogers and 22 CF 1692, 22 CF 2651. We have reached a resolution in both cases. He will withdraw his previously entered plea of not guilty. Tender plea of no contest to 22 CF 1692. Count 1 will be a plea as charged. He'll be adjudicated guilty. Credit for time served, $515 in court costs, legal assistance fee, 3 years of probation, 1 year driver's license suspension, and cost of transportation amount of $89.16 to the Okloosa County Sheriff's Office. Count 2, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, 3 years of concurrent probation. Count 3, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, 22 CF 2651 will be dismissed by the state.
Okay, thank you.
And there is a score sheet attached.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rogers, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Rogers, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rogers, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court costs, the legal assistance fee. You're also sentenced to 3 years probation. There's a 1 year driver's license suspension. The 3 years probation is concurrent on counts 1 and 2. It runs at the same time. And it's credit for time served on count 3. So, Mr. Rogers, when you get out of jail, you'll need to report to probation tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, too. Right, this one, you're accepting the board.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Michael W. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
He's mine as well, Judge. David Stevens on behalf of Michael Rogers and 22 CF 3127. I was just appointed a couple weeks ago, still waiting to receive discovery. I'm just going to ask to continue it so I can get the discovery and then go talk to Mr. Rogers.
Okay. So, Mr. Rogers,
Mr. Sir, I was trying to get this resolved today, if I could.
Okay. You want to know the offer from the state? Mr. Rogers, you want the state to tell you what their offer is?
Yes, please.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
So withhold probation with some other terms. If Your Honor wants me to read all of them.
Can you hear me, Mr. Rogers?
Yes, sir.
The state's offer is a withhold of adjudication, 3 years probation, restitution in the amount of $1,200, joint and several liable with co-defendants, $615 in court cost, 25 hours community service work, no trespassing at professional car wash, and letter of apology to the victim. And if you want, based on that, I can leave you set for docket day next week and come talk to you between now and Monday.
No, I'll go ahead and take that.
Mr. Stevens, do you want to set it for this Thursday?
We can, I'll be here.
Okay. And then you talk to him between now and then, or talk to him?
I'll go up to the jail and get him to go with a plea agreement and sign it.
Good, okay. Mr. Rogers, I'll see you on Thursday, okay, in the morning.
We can't resolve this today, or
Have you ever been on probation before, Mr. Rogers?
No, sir, no, sir.
I'd feel more comfortable if your attorney talks to you about what you're getting into, and then I'll see you on Thursday, okay? He'll give you a written plea agreement, read it, and we'll talk about it on Thursday.
Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Marty Nopes on behalf of Brandon Roswell. Mr. Roswell, the state has made an offer on both of your cases that I would like to run past you and ask you to consider. On the 22 CF case that you were previously, we've been handling the 1567, the state would agree to adjudicate you guilty, place you on probation for 5 years, $615 in court cost, $150 court-appointed legal assistance fee, waive the cost of supervision, and the state is agreeing to early termination at the halfway mark. As far as your new case, they're willing to give you an adjudication and credit for time served with no additional penalties. I guess you'd have to pay the court cost, $615 in legal assistance fee.
Okay.
But you would be subject, if I'd say today, but it may be in the morning because it's such late time in the afternoon that you'd be able to be released if there's nothing else holding you.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know if you understood that, Judge.
Nope. Tell me the terms again.
On the 22 CF 1567, he would enter a plea, count 1 and 2, and he'd be adjudicated guilty. He'd be placed on probation for 5 years. Special condition, $615 in court cost, $150 court-appointed legal assistance fee, waive the cost of supervision, and the state does agree to early termination of probation at the halfway mark. On the new charge, which is 23 CF 101, it'd be adjudication of guilt, $615 court cost, $150 court-appointed legal assistance fee, credit for time served.
Okay.
Get that right?
Yes, sir. If you'll please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. You're muted, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, you don't have to bend down. You can put your hand down. Thank you, sir. So do you understand that if I accept your plea that you're waiving your right to trials by jury?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nopes, do you have it in writing or no?
I do not. I just got a portion.
Okay. Please, I'll take it. Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Roswell, did you understand all the terms that Mr. Nopes stated?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you ever been on probation before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Roswell, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served in the new case, the 101 case. You're sentenced to 5 years probation in the 1567 case. However, your supervision will automatically terminate at the halfway mark if you've successfully completed all the terms of your supervision at that point and haven't committed any new law violations. You'll need to pay the court costs, $150 public assistance fee. Court does waive the $40 per month cost of supervision. So when you get out of jail, then you'll need to report to probation. If you get out today, you'll need to report tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. If it's tomorrow, you need to report when you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Klein?
Your Honor, this is Donald Douglas in 21 C 1439. The other cases he has on the docket are VOP cases. The intention of this cycle was to announce ready for trial. I talked to Mr. Gomez, and the defense has listed a witness who currently lives in Tennessee. And my understanding is that the state wants, given the nature of the charges here, the state would object to her appearing by Zoom for the trial. So unfortunately, I think that the case probably has to be continued to make those travel arrangements. However, this is This is that's the next one up. But for these travel issues, we'd be setting and announcing for trial.
Okay. And you can't schedule the travel arrangements in 3 weeks?
I'm not entirely sure that I can. Sometimes I can't get her on the phone. And so if the court wants to leave this on for next Monday to see if we can make something happen, I don't have a problem with that. I've made a point to talk to Mr. Gomez about this last week, and he informed me. And if the state asks to continue it, I'm not going to object. I certainly understand how that works. So,
Mr. Gomez, what do you want to do?
Given that there is only 2 weeks between today and the first day of trial, I don't see how it would be possible to hear that we need to have trial next week and for us to get subs out appropriately.
Okay.
So I would think that continuing should be in there.
Okay, then it's continued and it's charged to the state?
it can be joint. I mean, it's the state asking for it. I can tell the court, we have proposed a plea to 48 months in the Department of Corrections to resolve all of this stuff. And the main argument that I have made to Mr. Gomez is when I took the depositions, not a single witness ever saw a gun. And that's really the big jump between the numbers. I've talked to Mr. Douglas. He seems like he'd be on board with the 48-month offer. So if we do get a resolution, we'll certainly advance it on the docket.
Yes, sir. You can bring it in then.
Yes, sir.
So I'll see you no later than May 8th. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir. Have a good day.
All right.
You too.
Rivas? Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Rivas.
Jason McKinney on behalf of Mr. Rivas. Judge, Mr. Rivas has been in a holding pattern on 22 CF 826 and 22 CF 1582 awaiting an answer from Phoenix House. And obviously, if we had an answer from Phoenix House, that's what we would likely be doing right now with court. So I'm going to ask that we leave him on for Monday, and I'm going to speak with Mr. Rivas. If Phoenix House doesn't give us an answer by then, we may seek other alternatives. I know that he really wants to go to that program. I think it would be a good thing for him, but we'll go back to the drawing board if we have to, if we don't have an answer by docket day.
So we continue?
Please continue.
So, Mr. Rivas, I'll see you on Monday, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Rivas?
R-E-A-V-I-S.
R-E-A-V-I-S.
Christian Rivas.
And it's 22 CF 826. And also 22 CF 1582. Okay.
Making sure.
Yes.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Michael Simmons. I seen you a couple months ago.
Okay.
And,
Who's, hold on one second.
Judge, Mr. Stebbins is my case.
Okay.
And Mr. Stebbins, the state has communicated to me that if you were to enter a plea, then they would agree to a 6-month Okloosa County jail sentence. If you were to be adjudicated guilty and accept the jail sentence, you could enter that today. Or I would prefer, if we were to discuss it, to come back next Monday so that we could talk it through.
If I can plead guilty, I got a hold on me.
For Santa Rosa.
I got a hold on me, Santa Rosa, sorry. And I got a sob story you wouldn't believe. Nobody heard it all, seen it all. But my heart's not working. I'm actually 18%. I got congestive heart failure.
Yes, sir.
I got leaking heart valve. But I got 2 daughters that are in the system right now. And there's any way I can get this over with. I'm all for it.
Mr. Stebbins, you could accept the state's offer of a plea as charged to the 2 counts that are charged, which are felony charges, and be sentenced to 6 months in the Okloosa County Jail with no probation, and there would be the court costs of $515,
How much time would I have to pay that?
Well,
I actually have the money in the bank. I had the money in the bank, but I'm not from here.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Stebbins, hold on. Mr. Stebbins, hold on. As far as the money goes, if you needed 6 months to pay that, then I'd give you 6 months to pay it. So don't let that slow you down.
Yeah.
It's whether you want to accept the offer of 6 months in the Okloosa County Jail.
Well, that's short. I've actually been in here on this charge, and I guess you got to pay for it since September 28th.
You would get credit.
So 6 months will be up any day.
You would get credit for all the time that you have served.
Okay.
There would be $5 let me talk for a second. It would be $515 in court cost, a $150 cost of defense, and there was a cost of investigation, or is it transport? Cost of transport to the Okloosa County Sheriff's Office in the amount of $101.83.
All right. Well, here's one more concern. I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm 63 years old. I've never been convicted of a felony. I've been in court 4 felonies before, but I've never been convicted. And I hate, how can we do this to where it doesn't show up a felony on my record? I mean, is there any way that can be done, or is there any kind of...
Okay, let's ask. To the state, any way you can offer a withhold of adjudication?
Judge, I think that was the original offer, was a withhold and probation, and then there was discussions about whether I would just do a straight jail sentence.
Mr. Stebbins,
I want a straight jail sentence, but I really hate for that to be on my record, because I'm thinking about getting my $2 and actually taking a trip to Mexico. I don't know if that's possible to get on.
Mr. Stebbins, hold on. I can't make the state offer you anything any more than I can make you accept something. So either you accept the state's offer, or I can see you on Monday and we can see what you want to do.
The state's offer is that you would be adjudicated guilty, you would be convicted of a felony. And my opinion is that there's no real way that we can be sentenced to a county jail sentence and get away from adjudication.
If I'm pretty guilty with this, what's my release date,
The jail would calculate your release date, and you would be transferred to Santa Rosa County based on your hold.
Okay, so I'm going to plead guilty.
The state has no objection to you serving the remainder of your sentence in Santa Rosa, but Santa Rosa would have to file the motion in order to transport you there.
Okay, by the piece of paper saying that they had to hold on me since September 28th, my 6 months should be over with, right?
The jail calculates the credit. We don't do that in the courtroom, Mr. Stebbins.
Mr. Stebbins, if you want to accept the plea, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Mr. Stebbins, do you want to accept the state's plea?
I guess, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm like getting out of here. I'm getting old.
Okay, do you understand that you're waiving your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Stebbins, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. Your sentence is 6 months in the Okloosa County Jail with credit for all time served. You'll need to pay the court costs, $150 public defender's fee, and the cost of transportation of $101.83. If you fail to pay those within 6 months from your release from the jail, then they'll give you a civil lien or judgment, okay?
Hey, so it's all you can give me 6 months. I mean, I have the money, but I have...
Yes, sir. You've got 6 months to pay it.
I'll do the best I can. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Judge, if I can
Thank
get
you.
to the score sheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, this is Broderick Weathersby. Mr. Weathersby is present for the court in 22 CF 2782. We have depositions that are scheduled in April. So I'm going to request a continuance. I have met with Mr. Weathersby at the jail and explained the need for those depositions.
Okay. Mr. Weathersby, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes, sir.
I'll see you back here no later than May 8th, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You too. Thank you, sir.
Stone.
David Stevens on behalf of Terry Stone in 22 CF 1044, 1285, and 1286. We did depositions on February the 27th that I believe were quite beneficial to the defense. I will be drafting a motion to suppress based on those depositions. He does have a new case, 23 CF 328, which is currently set for May the 8th, the Public Defender's Office. They have no conflicts. They're going to keep that one. I would just ask to continue these cases to track with the new ones and I get that motion filed.
Okay. So, Mr. Stone, what I hear is that your attorney may be filing a motion your cases are all continued until May 8th, but if your attorney files a motion, he could set a hearing before that date, okay?
Yes, sir, Judge Ryan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Ridley?
Your Honor, this is Matthew Midling. We are going to announce ready for trial. I do want the court, or the record, I should say, to show that I have attempted to depose the alleged victim in this case. We can't find her. Mr. Midling has requested that the case be set for trial. So I'm okay with that. The offer in the case right now is 30 years as a habitual felony offender. So I personally would prefer to make one more attempt to try to find this person, given the nature of the charges. However, I'm not the one sitting in jail. So, and the alleged victim is his daughter. So I will concede he probably knows more about her than I do.
So do we want to have, so Mr. Midling, I'll see you on next week on the 20th. And then we'll be looking at going to trial at the end of this month or the first week of next month, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'll see you in a week. Thank you, sir.
More?
Your Honor, this is Brian Moore. Mr. Moore, I didn't realize you were in the county jail until just recently. He was arrested in early February, Your Honor. So I would like to leave him on for next Monday so I can go talk to him and figure out what he wants to do here.
Can I ask for a deal to be able to get out of your work?
I mean, the state's offer to you right now is probation and a withhold of adjudication. If you wanted to take that, you could. Just understand, I might be able to get something a little bit better than what it is currently now. However, as I was just telling the judge, I'm not the guy sitting in there eating the food. So if you wanted to take that, you can, but I think the better course of action would be to give me a chance to come talk to you probably tomorrow. And I could try to get you in front of the judge later this week and on Thursday, possibly, if we get something worked out here. But it's up to you.
How long probation?
Well, how about this? So, was revoked, he was arrested on that case. That's fine. Mr. Moore, I think we can do probably something a little bit better. So the reason why you're in jail right now is because when you were arrested on that misdemeanor case, your bond was revoked in this case. I just gave the state attorney a copy of the no prosecution filed in that case and the minute sheet from that case. I believe the state would agree they would stipulate to reinstating your bond, and then I would just ask the court to continue this one time.
Yes, sir.
We would agree to the stipulation, no objection.
Okay, so the bond is reinstated?
That's what yes, Your Honor, that's what we're asking.
And then, so we're doing plea continue, where it comes?
Just a straight continuance at this point, Your Honor.
Okay, so your bond's reinstated, so they'll let you out of jail if you post that bond. And then I'll see you back here on May 8th at 9 o'clock. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You'll provide it.
I will get an order to the court first thing in the morning.
Thank you.
Sorry. This is Stephen Newsom. Hey, Stephen, I talked to the state this morning. They've made you an updated offer. If you pled as charged today, the state would agree to credit for time served and court costs.
Yes, I did.
Okay. I don't have a written plea agreement here, Your Honor.
That's fine.
But Mr. Newsom would be entering a no contest plea as charged on both counts. The agreed upon sentence would be that he'd be sentenced to time served, be assessed $615 in court costs, and $150 in public defender fees. And Mr. Newsom, just for your benefit, I did track down that prior that we were talking about, and I believe you are correct. I actually have a copy of the original plea agreement from 1997. So,
thank you, sir.
Mr. Hines, what would the adjudication be?
it would be adjudicated, Your Honor. He's previously been adjudicated.
Okay. Mr. Newsom, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so I hope you got it?
I do.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Newsom, do you understand that you're waiving your right to a trial by jury if I accept the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Newsom, I do accept the plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to credit for time served. You'll need to pay the court costs, the $150 public defender's fee. How long do you want to pay those after you get out of jail?
Would yours should suffice?
Okay, yes, sir, you've got a year. If you fail to pay it within 1 year, then it'll go to a civil lien or judgment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Larson. Hello, Mr.
Judge, this is Adrian Rico Garcia.
Yeah, that's me here.
Yes, sir. He's also under the docket under Adrian Garcia for a felony violation of probation.
Okay.
There is a pending evaluation. We do not have that currently, Mr. Adrian Garcia. So I'm going to request a continuance for today. But keep in mind, if we do reach an agreement, then I'd like the opportunity to advance this in the docket pending that evaluation.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Garcia, that means that I'll see you no later than May 8th, but if an evaluation comes back before that, or Mr. McKinney sets a hearing, I'll see you before that date, okay?
So, so question, so somebody's gonna come and see me here for the evaluation?
Mr. McKinney will come see you in the jail.
I'm going to come see you in the jail again, and there is going to be an evaluator. I know that I've requested it weeks ago, but they are going to be sitting down with you related to mental health.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. Smith.
Well, Mr. Smith.
This is Clint Smith. Mr. Flynn Smith is before the court in two case numbers, 22 CF 962 and 22 CF 956. The 1956 case is more serious than the other one. That is where we're spending our time and doing depositions. We've already started that process. We've already completed some. That's going to lead us to more. So I'm going to request a continuance from Mr. Smith today. I'm working to resolve his case as quickly as possible and get it ready.
Mr. Smith, do you understand what Mr. McKinney's doing on your case?
Yes.
Okay, do you agree to the continuance?
Yes.
I'll see you back here no later than May 8th. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Taylor?
Judge, this is Gordon Taylor before the court in 22 CF 54. He also has a felony violation of probation case number, which has been tracking along. That's just pending sentencing, pending what happens with 22 CF 54. Unfortunately, Mr. Taylor, I don't think that we're in a trial posture right now. Based on my discussions with the state, they have indicated that they would be seeking to introduce medical records at the trial. That's something that I don't have yet to be able to review with you or to be able to reasonably see if we can challenge that at trial. I have been given information for the medical provider who I'm going to seek to depose before we get back in court again. But if it's going to be a feature of the trial, I would like the opportunity to review that.
Do you agree, Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Taylor, I'll see you no later than May 8th, and Mr. McKinney will come see you in the jail.
And Mr. Taylor, I know it's your desire to get to a jury trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try to get all the records crunched through and the doctor deposed before we get to May 8th.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Triple.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Mark Triplett.
Mark Triplett.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Triplett's here in two case numbers, 22 CF 2986 and 22 CF 2603. For Mr. Triplett's benefit, I've been in contact with his attorney over in Walton County to try to see how that's going to affect him over there as far as what type of sentence he's looking at. I do want to bring Mr. Triplett back on docket day, plea or continue, to see if we can resolve something, perhaps globally with Walton County as well. I believe that we're not looking at anything beyond county jail on both sides of the county here. So I'm going to seek to bring him back on plea continue to see if we can resolve it on Monday.
Okay. Mr. Triplett, I'll see you next Monday, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
McKinney.
Yes, sir.
Wallace? How you doing?
Hello, Mr. Wallace.
How you doing today?
Good, Mr. Wallace. Mr. McKinney's coming to the lectern.
And Judge, procedurally, we have depositions in April. We also have a bond hearing on Thursday. So Your Honor will be seeing him for the bond hearing. It's already set, but procedurally, I would request a continuance so that we can complete the depositions that we already have scheduled.
Mr. Wallace, that means I'll see you on Thursday on the bond hearing. And as far as the underlying case, it's continued until May 8th. But I'll see you on Thursday, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Youngest.
Judge, this is Mr. Adam Young. He has 3 cases before Your Honor, 2 of which are felony violations of probation, one of which is a new charge. We have depositions scheduled in April. I have discussed the need and pros and cons of doing depositions as opposed to going straight to trial with Mr. Young, and he's indicated to me that he wishes to move forward and do the depositions we have in April, so I request a continuance.
Mr. Young, you understand what Mr. McKinney's doing on your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you agree to the continuance?
I want to know, like, if we can try to resolve this today.
Okay.
Like,
What's the offer?
I mean,
for this? Hold on, Mr. Young, let's get, you know the offer?
yeah, I know they offer 18 months, but I was hoping, like, I mean, that was my only offer. I was want to know, like, if CC or something like that was possible.
The state's looking at her file.
The minimum guideline score sheet that I've reviewed with Mr. Young shows 18.22 months.
That's the state's offer?
Yes, Judge.
Mr.
Yes,
Young,
Judge.
at this point, the state's offering me the 18 months in prison. So you're seeking,
A continuance, and I'm going to file a bond motion for Mr. Young.
okay. So Mr. Young, I'll see you no later than May 8th, but if your attorney files a bond motion, then I'll see you before that.
All right. Well, Ms. McKinney, when will be my bond hearing? Did you put me up?
I've got all your information based on our meeting. I need to file that in a motion when I get a chance, and then I'll set it for the earliest time as I can. So it'll likely be within the next week to 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Well, next time, it's very big night, so that's good. So,
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Sean Sanders.
Thank you, sir. Just a minute. Kenny, who represents Mr., is it Sanders?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I believe I was reappointed, and I was going to ask the court to leave it set for Monday, docket day. Let me see if I can resolve it with the state.
Good. Okay, so plea continue.
Yes, sir.
So that means that I'll see you on Monday, okay, on the 20th?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Smith? Yes.
That was Sean Sanders.
Michael Sanders.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Kimani Smith.
Judge, I represent Mr. Smith, and we are trying to figure out a way for Mr. Smith to get some mental health treatment, even so far as negotiating a possible PTI. He is going to be evaluated by D. Adams for the mental health court program on Friday. All that being said, primarily for Mr. Smith's benefit, that he is going to be meeting with her on Friday. I'd like him to come back on docket day to be here in the courtroom in person to see if we can resolve this in a way that's beneficial for him and beneficial for him to get some mental health treatment.
Okay. Mr. Smith, that means I'll see you in a week, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
This is Kimani.
that was Kamani Smith. Prior to that was Sean Sanders.
Yes, sir, thank you.
And Madam Clerk, the jail is not going alphabetical. They're going by pods and they're all over the place.
Okay.
The newest list sent by Heather is very accurate.
Mr. Catalinic, is this your client?
What is his name, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. What's your name? To the jail?
It's Paris.
Paris? Who represents Mr. Paris?
I believe it's Mr. Klein's.
It's listed as a private attorney. Keon Paris?
Yes.
What private? Okay.
We had
Who's your attorney?
Mr. Paris, who's your attorney? The mic's muted, Joe. There you go. Do you know?
The last name, but I think it's Cruz. I searched up. I had a hired attorney.
You hired an attorney? Okay. And you don't know their last name?
No, sir. I didn't get too much
It is,
information.
yes, Your Honor, it's an attorney by the name of Tyrese Cruz.
Okay, good. You said Cruz and that's it. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Mr. Cruz today.
I saw there was a attorney Cruz on Zoom.
Mr. Cruz, are you on Zoom? I don't see anybody.
He's probably on his own.
Well,
He's based out of Orlando, so I know. I've
Okay.
talked to Mr. Cruz when he first took the case. So,
Okay. Mr. Walker, I think he was here earlier. I guess he stepped out. I can either, since you're in jail, what I'll do is I'll just set it for plea continue, which means that I'll see you a week from today. Talk to your private attorney and say, and the clerk will let them know, but that it's Monday at 9 o'clock, and I need him here, and then you'll appear, okay?
All right.
Okay.
So next week, Monday.
Right, Monday the 20th at 9 o'clock.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Jones.
Right.
What's your client?
Should be inmate, Luann Aaron Jones.
Okay. Mr. Stevens?
David Stevens on behalf of Caitlin Jones, 22 CF 1135. Judge, I filed a motion withdrawal last week. Haven't received the order yet.
Okay, and you provided me with a proposed order?
I did. And I emailed Ms. Fott to say that it should not be Mr. Notes or Mr. Keach, as they also have conflicts.
Okay. Mr. Jones, what I'll do is I'll just do plea or continue, which means that I'll see you a week from today, and I'll sign any orders that I have in my queue. I haven't seen that. And we'll get a new attorney appointed for you and make sure that you see that new attorney no later than next Monday, the 20th. Okay?
All right, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So we get to. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Ron Williams.
Williams?
Yes, Rome, St. Auburn, Williams.
Judge, it says Mr. Mumford on the docket, but Mr. Mumford had done a motion to withdraw previously because Mr. Williams had not been in touch with him.
Okay.
He appeared by Zoom, I don't know if you recall.
Okay. Mr. Mumford, do you want me to appoint the public defender if you qualify financially?
I don't understand, sir.
Okay, do you have an attorney right now?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you want an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how much money do you want me to appoint the public defender if you, how much money, no, I'll get it out yet. How much money do you make per month?
Roughly 1,200 to 1,400.
Okay, I will appoint the public defender if you want them. You want them to
Yes.
represent you? Okay. I do appoint the public defender. Mr. Kleins is coming to the lectern. Mr. Mumford.
Who is this? Is this Mr. Williams?
I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, thank you.
Mr. Williams, my name is Jason McKinney. I believe I was just appointed to your case. Are we putting this on docket day?
What do you, I would think so, unless you want something other than that. Do you want to?
I'd like the opportunity to go meet with him, get my feet under me. So if we could come back on docket day to continue, I would prefer that.
Okay. So I'll see you on next week on the 20th. Mr. McKinney will talk to you either before that or on that day, okay? Thank you, sir.
Judge, this is Christopher Morrison before the court in 23 CF 225. Excuse me, we have reached an agreement with the state. He is going to be entering a no contest plea as charged. He'll be adjudicated guilty, placed on 1 year of community control, followed by 2 years of probation. All counts will have the same sentence. All counts will run concurrently to one another. There is a $40 per month cost of supervision. However, I am going to ask the court to waive that since there's a pretty substantial restitution amount. He needs to pay $515 in court costs, a $150 cost of defense. It's $2,000 in restitution to Barry Feazel, that's Feazel. They'll need to submit to a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days, begin any recommended treatment within 60 days, submit to random urinalysis, complete an anti-theft course, complete 24 hours of community service work. He's not to trespass at Circle K, located at 213 Racetrack Road in Fort Walton Beach. And he's to have no contact with Barry or Rachel Feazel, and again, that spelling is Feazel. May I approach?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Morrison, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'm sorry, Jail, your mic's muted.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Morrison, did you read the plea agreement?
Yes, sir, I did.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign it?
Yes, sir, I did.
Mr. Morrison, I do accept your plea. You're adjudicated guilty. You're sentenced to 1 year community control, followed by 2 years of probation. You need to, well, how much money do you make per month, Mr. Morrison?
Honestly, I couldn't say, Your Honor. Maybe like $2,000, maybe $1,500. It all varies, because I work several hours. Sometimes I pick up shifts, sometimes I don't.
Okay, I do waive the cost of supervision. You'll need to pay the court costs, public defender, the public assistance fee, $2,000 in restitution. You'll need to submit to a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days from today, begin any treatment within 60 days from today, submit to random urinalysis, enter and successfully complete the anti-theft course, perform 24 hours of community service work, have no trespassing at the Circle K at 213 Racetrack Road in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, no contact with Barry or Rachel Feazel. That's in count 1. In counts 2, 3, and 4, adjudication of guilt, 1 year. It's the same terms as far as 1 year community control followed by 2 years probation. All of those will run concurrently, run at the same time between the different counts. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Probation, hold on 1 second, Mr. Moore.
He needs to remain at home until he comes to probation at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then if I could get a residence address.
Where do you reside, Mr. Morrison?
I do reside in Santa Rosa County, but I can get an address by tomorrow morning for Okloosa.
If he's going to reside in Santa Rosa County, then he'll stay at that till he can get to our probation office.
Okay.
He just needs to check in at 8 in the morning.
Okay. So do you need an address?
I need what county he's going to live in.
What county? If you're going to live in Santa Rosa County, just say that's where you're going to live, and probation will make sure they work it out.
Well, yes, sir. I'll be residing in Santa Rosa County.
Okay. So when you get out, you need to stay in your residence If they let you out today, then you need to go report to probation tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. If you get out tomorrow, then you need to immediately report to probation. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a little long, correct, sir?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Chris, you're going to report in Fort Walton, and then they'll transfer you to the Santa Rosa office.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, to the jail. We've been here, it's 5 o'clock. Let's take a 10-minute recess, and then we'll come back and finish up the day. So we're in recess for 10 minutes.
All rise, please.
Judge Jenkins, is Mr. McKinney in there?
Our clients. For more information, visit us online today at www.powelllawfirm.com.
This is Tiffany Woodham, State Farm's newest agent in Crestview. I'd like to personally invite you to stop by my office on North Verdon Boulevard for a no-cost policy review. Let me help you start saving today. Call in, walk in, or click in at yourcrestview.agent.com.
Check out the soaps, bath bombs, and other bath and body products, all made by hand with natural ingredients at Hub City Soapery. Visit us at 1092 North Verdon Boulevard in Crestview or shop online at hubcitysoapery.com. Hub City Soapery,